Hey everyone, take a look at the Barcelona pack that was added recently to eFootball. I'm also going to look at the free cards from the 900 million downloads campaign, including the free Showtime Lewandowski. As always, I have a timestamp in the description for each player. So if you want to hear about particular players, click the description, they'll be able to take you straight to them. So starting with the pack, we'll have a quick look at Hansi Flick first. So Hansi Flick is a possession manager. He's got 89 possession. He's also got quick counter 88. So he's kind of both, but not quite as good at quick counter. But I always say the difference between 88 and 89 is not massive. It just means that the player stats will go up by 3 in the game plan when they hit the 84 mark instead of 85. So it's not a massive difference, but he is a bit better at possession. He's going to boost your low pass and dribbling by 1. If you're farming, or boost your 5-star players by 200%. But yeah, you basically got a possession and quick counter manager who's just a bit better at possession and quick counter, really. I don't think he's a link up as well. So he's got a link up, diagonal, long pass. Hey, I love these names. So playmaker, attacking mid, hold player, left mid, right mid. Yeah, there you go. I think we know how these link up things work by now. So if you have playmaker, attacking mid, hold player, left mid, right mid, you can get some weird little boost things with this manager. So there you go. There's your manager, Hansi Flick. With the players, we will start with the goalie. We'll work around the pitch. We also to do it with these packs these days. So we've got Joan García. And it's not the first time I've had a version of Garcia, but it's the first time I've had a Barcelona version. So he's got a face scan. He's attacking goalie. He's about 6'3", unwavering form. He's got a second booster slot. All these cards got a second booster slot, so you can boost a few of his stats by 1. Skill-wise, he's got low punt, high punt, penalty saver. But let's jump over the eFootball hub though. Let's train Garcia up, see how good he is. So, pretty decent, not amazing. As I mentioned, we've had one previous version. That was a player of the season one from when he was at Espanyol last season. That player of the season one, if you look at the ratings, pretty similar. But remember, with those trendy ones, that player of the season card was like a player of the week card. It's a pre-trained card. They always nerf the jumping on those cards, so that messes with the ratings. His core goalkeeper attributes are actually slightly better than this one. So it is a bit better than this one. Not a massive difference though. This one is still decent though. It would be nice if we could nudge the reflexes up to the 90 mark, but just taking those points off aerial, we can do that easy enough. Do we need to do much with his reach? He's got 173.6 arm coverage. That's pretty decent. So no major concerns with his reach there. 92 reach is good. I wouldn't do a great deal with the stats, to be honest. I mean, you could maybe bounce it out a little bit, take one off awareness, put it on reflexes. You could take that one off reach, put it on reflexes or awareness if you want. You know, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. I think awareness is probably the most important, but yeah, whichever way you do it, all the stats are pretty decent there at least. Nothing bad, no concerns there. And yeah, you've got a pretty decent goalkeeper here. For the Spanish League Challenge, could be a great option, but just in general, he can definitely do a job for you. The physical profile is just about fine. He's not massive. The arm coverage is not amazing, but there's certainly no concerns there, and the stats are pretty good. The key ones are over 90 with the game plan boost, catching and parrying decent enough. So yeah. Good start to the pack, really. He's maybe not a top, elite level goalkeeper. Is a pretty good, solid one. And before I forget the boost from his GB card, they put most of his attributes up by 3. Catching and reflex is only up by 1 though. Parrying and reach, parrying's up by 5, reach by 6. So yeah, a little bit stingy maybe on the catching and reflexes, but on the whole, it's a pretty good boost. And yeah, like I say, that's a good, solid goalie card there. Oh, I should probably do a second booster before someone complains. So you've only got 2 for goalies, unless you want to put another one you could give him defending, agility. But no, you've got 2 for goalies. You've got goalkeeping. Goalkeeping is all the goalie stats except for reach, and then you've got saving, which is all the goalie stats except for catching. The only 2 that really need boosting a bit are catching and parrying. They're the 2 lowest. So I want to go with goalkeeping. That's the one that covers both of those. But as I always say, I'm not massive fan of these second boosters, and you've got 11 players in this pack with a booster slot. You're going to use that many tokens and all these kind of regular highlight cards? I'm not sure, but yeah, if I was using one on Garcia and if I was going to choose it, I would go for goalkeeping personally. Right, so let's move into centre backs. We'll start with Ronald Araújo. So got a face scan. He is a destroyer as always. Unwavering form. Skill wise, quite interesting. It looks like they've added acrobatic finishing. That's according to eFootball Hub. I'm guessing he's not gotten this GP card, but yeah, acrobatic finishing on a centre back, fantastic. But apart from that, he doesn't really need anything else. He's got just about a complete set of skills for a centre back. And let's just get straight over to eFootball Hub, and let's train Araújo up. So where are we? All trained up, maxed out. He's unsurprisingly pretty good. This is a very good centre-back card, we've had a bunch of versions of Araújo up to this point. He's had a legend card, which is are just ridiculous. We've had a couple of Showtimes. The more recent Showtime card's better, as is the Legend card, of course. The older Showtime version of Araujo is not really, I'm not sure it's better. It's pretty similar to this one, to be honest. Some of the older Showtime cards starting to get a bit outdated now. It just kind of shows how the power creep has been getting a bit out of hand at times. But yeah, in terms of his Player of the Week cards, this is a bit better than I think either of his Player of the Week cards. And it's about as good as any highlight card we've had of Araujo, to be honest. I think as far as I can see, the next best one I can see is one that I got from one of those random national players packs. A few of the defenses slightly better on that one, but we've got a bit more on a few other attributes on this one. Pretty similar overall. And from his GP card, most of the stats are boosted by just 1 or 2 from his GP card, except stamina, which is up by 7. And that's a pretty welcome boost actually, because his stamina is not amazing still, but they've at least got it up to 81, which is decent. So that's a good one to boost, to be fair, even though it's not necessarily the first one you think of on a centre back. And the only other stat that's not gone up by 1 or 2 is heading, which has gone up by 0, because they just don't want players to be good at heading lately, especially centre backs. But yeah, still good at heading though. Defences are very strong. He's physically strong. Good jump on him. That vertical reach, 278.1 is good. Pretty decent pace for centre back stamina. Yeah, it's a good solid centre back. I don't think there's a great deal of change. I always say it's not overly efficient to go past 12 in defending, but you're only just hitting the 90 mark in awareness, so I'd probably leave that. You don't really need the points elsewhere. I don't think this is a card where it's really worth faffing around moving points around. I think the auto allocation on this one is just about fine, really. In terms of the second boost, I'm going to try and remember the second boost on all these, because obviously it's super important. I mean, to be fair, what you could do if you're going to choose a booster for Araujo, if you take 1 off defending, that gives you 4 points. You can then use a booster to get the defensive awareness to the 90 mark if you want to do that. You've got defending. You've got, what else you got? Dueling. What else gives you defensive awareness? Shutdown. Defending, dueling, or shutdown. Any of those 3, I think. They'll give you defensive awareness. I'd be tempted personally just to put a few randoms on him. Hope for one of the defending ones that gives you awareness. Then you've got 4 points to play with, and then you can put them where you want. I'll stick them on dexterity. I'd even be tempted to maybe take a couple off lower body and or even aerial maybes. Get that acceleration to 80. Is it worth it? Probably not, to be honest. But it looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah. So booster wise, I'd probably do something like that. But like I say, even without the booster, just an auto allocation. He's a very good solid centre back. You can play him as a right back. I know some people like to do that with centre backs who can be either trained to play fullback or who have already got fullback fully proficient, which Araujo obviously does. So as a fullback, speed's decent, but we'll beef up a bit. 89. I would take a bit of aerial. It's the left corner that's a concern. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to play him as a right back, you're not going to use him as an attacking right back, are you? So let's just accept he's going to be horrible on the ball, and you're just going to be one of those people who likes to play centre backs or full back for whatever reason. I would just then do that. I think he needs more acceleration. Yeah, if you're like a very defensive fullback, so like an extra centre back out wide for whatever reason, yeah, it could be strong there. You can get his pace to a reasonable level. Even if you don't put any points on aerial, still 83 physical is fine for a fullback. Stamina a bit if he will get tired. Defensively strong, but yeah, horrible on the ball. And then going forward, all he's really got going forward, he's not got Marseille turn, that's eFootball half telling Porkies, but he does have acrobatic finishing. So yeah, that's how I would train him if I was going to make him one of these extra centre backs out wide, whatever you want to call it. You can barely call it a fullback the way people use players in that position sometimes, but that's how I train him for that. Defensive mid, I mean, same situation. He's going to be horrible down the left hand side. Can you make him half decent as a defensive mid? You can't really, can you? Let's be honest. His stamina's still going to be bad. He's awful on the ball. Even if you put a load of points on there, yeah, it's not going to work. I'll leave him on auto allocation as a centre back. Really good solid centre back. That it's one of the better versions of Araujo that we've had, unless you've got one of the beefy ones, the legend or big time card. Apart from the recent Showtime and legend card of Araujo, I think this is about as good as we've had. So that is a very good solid centre back card. And our next centre-back, so it's the only other orthodox centre-back. We do have Koundé, though. You can train him as a centre-back or play him as a centre-back. He's already got it fully proficient. So I've got Kubarsí, you've got face scan, build-up centre-back, not the tallest. He's very two-footed. That's always a plus point with any player. Only standard form, but he seems to play well for Barcelona most weeks. Skill-wise, no changes here. No acrobatic finishing, unlike Araujo. We've got one touch through, weighted low loft, so got all those passing skills, which is lovely on a centre-back. Man marking, search and block, a sliding, acrobatic, fighting spirit. So heading and aerial superiority. Those are the two skills you need on Kubarsy. He's not the tallest. He doesn't have heading or aerial superiority. Those are very important skills to give a centre-back. So I'll put those skills on this guy 100%. But let's jump over to the hub and get him trained up. We'll see how good he is. So he is, again, unsurprisingly, pretty damn good. So the aerial issue is a bit of a concern. What's the vertical reach? That's what really matters. 272.5, that is not great. And physical contact, 85, that's not great either. They've gone up to 14 on defending when he's only got 85 physical contact. This is why you can't trust the auto allocation. Physical contact's really important. Those defenses are really, really strong. You can easily spare a couple from defending. Going past 12 on defending when you need points elsewhere, it's not efficient. So I'll do that. Stick a couple more on aerial. Up to 88 physical contact already. 2 points left. Stick one low body up to 80 speed. Bosh, that's a much better build than auto allocation. I know it's just opinion, but come on now. Would I do anything more than that even? I mean, you could. If you really want to hit the 90 mark physical contact, you could nick another one off aerial there. What am I doing there? That's what we want to boost. You could nick 3 points of dexterity. I don't think you'd miss them. And go a couple lower on low body there with that. Yeah, you could do that. If you really want to do that, if you feel like it's quick enough, you could do that. Guess it jumping up to 94, 275 high. It's not a massive increase, to be fair. It doesn't make a huge difference. But like I always say, physical contact extremely important on the centre back. Heading's not great, actually 83, so the heading skill would really help. But yeah, in fact, you could scale him from defending actually, and then get his speed back up a little bit. Do it that way. Yeah. So a couple of ways you could shuffle points around if you wanted to. I'd be tempted to personally. Remember, there is a second booster though, if you are going to use your booster tokens on these highlight cards, which I wouldn't personally recommend. I don't think it's worth it because most of us are getting kind of Showtime and Legend cards here and there. But yeah, if you're going to use a second booster again, you know, there's a few defending boosters. You've got defending, dueling, shutdown, but you've also got aerial. That'll give you jumping and physical contact. That's the one area for me where, yes, the jumping stat in itself is quite high, but he's not a tall player, so it needs to be very high. And physical contact, as we saw with the auto allocation, could do with being a little bit higher, maybe. So the aerial booster would be the most logical choice for me. Are there any other boosters that will boost his physical and jumping? It's physicality, isn't it? Does that do it? Yes, it does. So physicality would work. Obviously, you've got defending, dueling, shutdown, but for me, physicality or aerial, I'll be tempted to go for physicality, to be honest. A bit more balance and stamina, maybe, but I mean, it's not a lot of difference. It's just because one of the aerial ones is finishing, which is completely useless, but that one does boost heading, unlike physicality. But I'd go for one of those two personally. And that way you could argue that you could just nick one back from aerial, maybe put it back on defending. I wouldn't personally go past 12 on defending, like I say. Up to 12, those last 4 are +3, and then the next 4 go up by +4. That's a lot of points, very expensive. But yeah, I think I'll just do around about that. So the only concern for me with this Kubarsy card is just the aerial thing in terms of the skills, and I, in my opinion, shuffling a few points around to make him a bit better in the air. It's not just about cross spam. Quite often there'll be long balls played forward by your opponent, or lofted through balls where you want to get on the end of it and, you know, get your head on it before it gets, you know, drops in behind the defense and stuff. But and I almost forgot to compare it to the previous versions of Haddock Kubarsy, which I normally start with. So we've had a Showtime Kubarsy, obviously that's better than this one. And the only other one we've had really is the one from a La Liga pack, a Spanish League pack, which is slightly better than this one, but not a massive difference, to be fair. And from his GP card, fairly even boost, to be honest. Most attributes up by between 2 and 4 points at level 1. But his tackling's only up by 1, which is a bit stingy, albeit it's still perfectly high. Low pass up by 5, but to be honest, if anything, if we look at the boost at level 1, it feels slightly weighted towards the attacking stats more than the defensive stats, which is slightly odd. I'd have preferred the boost to be around the aerial and physical strength personally, if anything, but yeah, it is what it is. It's still a very good centre-back card, with or without that second booster. I'll leave him on auto allocation. Like I say, defensively, fantastic. Down left, he's really good for a centre-back on the ball. And then down the right, it's just that area on physical strength, which, you know, won't concern everyone. And he is fantastic defensively with the core defensive attributes. But I think for a lot of people, including me, it is a bit of a concern. You might want to shuffle a few points around, strengthen him a bit there. But yeah, on the whole, very nice centre-back. He's going to be lovely on the ball. He's got those passing skills. You just might want to shuffle some points around, make him physically stronger, maybe to give him heading and aerial superiority skills. You can position train him to play as a right back or as a defensive mid, obviously left back as well, but same difference. We'll make him a right back first. Can he be a good right back? Let's just see how many points we can shuffle over to his pace first. I mean, you don't really need anything down the left-hand side, so we can put all these points into his pace. Is he any good as a right back? I'm not sure. You could get away with him. Is it worth the position trainers? Maybe, not sure, don't know. You're taking a bunch off his defending, but those obviously still pretty strong for a fullback. Physical strength, same situation really. You got the stamina, speed, you can get away with that. Acceleration, a bit iffy. If you really want to Kubarsy as a fullback, yeah, you could do that. But like I say, is it worth the position trainers? I don't know. I mean, you could use your second booster for agility, get him a bit more pace. It would work. He's going to be nice enough on the ball. He's got the passing skills. But yeah, like I say, would I recommend it? I'm not sure. But as an option, to have Kubarsy as a right back at a stretch, yeah, he could be decent enough for you there, certainly. And then defensive mid, similar situation. To be honest, if you're going to play him as a defensive mid, you're going to use him as a very, very defensive one. He's just going to screen your defense. You're not going to be too bothered about him being great on the ball. So I'd probably do a similar build for defensive mid, to be honest. Maybe take a bit off his lower body because he does have some stamina, and probably just make him a bit better on the ball. Yeah, he could do a job as a defensive mid. You could certainly do a job there, but honestly, is it worth the position trainers? I'm not so sure. If you buy this pack and you really don't like short centre backs, then it might be something that tempts you. But I think for the 99.9% of people, you're looking at centre back with Kubarsy. And as much as there is a slight concern over the aerial and physical side of things, it is obviously a very nice centre back card, all things considered. Right, so onto the fullbacks, but Koundé can also be a centre-back still. So Jules Koundé, who's now a defensive fullback, he used to be down as an extra frontman centre-back, but they moved him, a few months ago, 6 months ago, they moved him to right-back, made him a defensive fullback. He's got his face scan, of course. He's got unwavering form. If you're going to play him as centre-back, he's a bit on the short side, but we will train him for centre-back as well as fullback in a minute. They have added a skill. It looks like pinpoint crossing is new. He's got very interesting searching skills. Pinpoint crossing would make him a bit more usable as a fullback, albeit he's got a defensive fullback playing style, and defensive fullbacks don't get forward a lot, so not going to make that much difference, I think, for most people. But man marking, session blocker, aerial sliding, acrobatic, flying spirit, heading, yeah, he's got all the skills he needs defensively. Soul control is a bonus, and then pinpoint crossing if you're going to play him as a fullback. But let's train him up. Let's see how good Koundé actually is. And he is decent. As you would expect, as a defensive fullback, speed's good, acceleration a little bit iffy, but apart from that, as a defensive fullback, he's looking fantastic, to be fair. He's physically pretty strong, he's got a little bit of balance, got outstanding stamina, defensively really strong, and then down the left, he's absolutely fine for any kind of fullback, really, even an attacking fullback. So this is a good, strong defensive fullback card, this. We've had a lot of Koundé cards up to this point. We've had a bunch of Player of the Week cards. This is about as good as any, to be honest. There are a few that are pretty similar overall as a right back to this one, and as a centre back, really. There's only one Player of the Week card that's been a defensive fullback though, so if you really like their playing style, that might be significant for you. It's got a Showtime card that's better either as a right back or a centre back, unsurprisingly. And if you look at its highlight cards, it's better than any of his centre back highlight cards. When he used to be a centre back extra front man, this card's better as a centre back and as a right back than any of those. It's one of these cards where a lot of highlight cards that are fullbacks can be trained to be a centre back. And they'll be a lot better at centre back than they're supposed to be. It's always been the way in the game. But yeah, his old centre back highlight cards don't compare too well. But he's had a few right back highlight cards, and they're all pretty similar to this one, to be honest. They're kind of just a few stats kind of get shuffled around a little bit. A few get a bit higher or lower. This one overall, I would say slightly better as a right back. If you train all his right back highlight cards as a centre back, if we just go to auto allocation as a centre back on this one, there's a couple that are just about as good overall. But as I say, shuffled around a bit, sometimes a little bit better defensively, a bit more or less kind of physical contact, etc. This one's looking pretty good to me, to be honest. This looks like a pretty good version of Koundé. I'm going to start off looking at him as a right back. So just to touch on his GP card before we do that, it's a pretty mixed boost. His stats from his GP card at level 1. The biggest boost is on his kicking power, physical contact, his aggression. And again, like with Kubarsy, a bit more on his attacking stats than defensive, really. They put nothing on his defensive awareness or tackling, which is kind of harsh, but I don't think it's a problem. I don't think you really need any points there. He's looking pretty strong. The one thing I would look to do is I would look to maybe get that acceleration up a little bit. If you're going to play him as a fullback, everything's looking absolutely fine, but the acceleration is a little bit dodgy. So you could maybe spare one off lower body. I mean, you could certainly spare more stamina, but we'll leave the speed around the 90 mark. That gets 1 on dexterity. If you're going to use him as a defensive fullback, I think it's fair to say most people who like defensive fullbacks don't really care so much about these attributes down the left-hand side. So let's just take all these points away from the left-hand side there, and then we can go up to get him up to 88 acceleration. I think most people who like a defensive fullback would be happy with that. I think that would be a pretty solid build for a very defensive fullback, to be honest. Get acceleration up to 88. Still got the speed, everything else looking strong. Yeah, it's just not as great down the left hand side, but as a defensive fullback, I think that's still perfectly passable. Yeah, I think it's defensive fullback, very strong looking. Second booster before I forget. Does it really matter? There's a load you could give Koundé. I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. I think agility could be a decent one. What else you got? Maybe aerial, get the jump into 90. Not too important as a fullback. You've got defending. You've got dueling. You've got... What's hard worker do? Hard worker's not a bad one, to be fair. Physicality. Shutdown. There's a whole load of boosters I think would work fine on Koundé. Certainly as a right back. Again, I think it's another one where I'll be looking at just throwing a few randoms at him. I wouldn't waste all the selector tokens, whatever they're called, with the ones where you have to spend 100 to choose one. I'll just throw a few at him. Wait until you get something defensive, and then happy days, I'll go with that. So yeah, strong looking as a right back. Let's take that off. Let's just briefly look at him as a right wing before we do centre back, because he's got right wing. Do you want Jules Koundé as a right winger? Probably not, but let's just do a really weird build that no one's going to use, because that's what we do on this channel. Yeah, he's rubbish as a right winger. There we go. So let's go to centre back. Right, so centre back auto allocation. They've gone crazy on the defensives. They've gone up to 15 on defending. You do not need to go up to 15 on defending. I always say it's just not efficient going past 12 unless you really need to. I know the free Luke Shaw card. I did a build on that. I think I did it on the Discord. It was worth it on the Luke Shaw card because he really needed someone in his lower body. I went up to 16 on lower body. But generally speaking, I wouldn't go past 12. It's just not, it doesn't tend to be efficient. In fact, I'm going to just do 11 on defending. I'm going to go up to 12 on aerial. Makes him really strong physically, but again, jumping. It's not just the crossbar. You need your defenders to be able to win headers. Even there, we're going to 97 jumping. 273.1 is not good vertical reach. Does have rail superiority. That will help him win headers, but yeah, what else do we need here? Not a lot. We don't need a great deal. I'm going to nudge his low pass to 80 and then put the last two on lower body, give him a bit more speed. I'll be tempted to do that as a centre back. Not what everyone would do, because a lot of people would like to have, a lot of points on defending. A lot of people aren't too bothered about the jumping. You could well argue that because he's short, he's never going to be that great in the air. In which case, you could well argue that it's not that important, and you could just take all those points back off aerial there. Just leave his physical at 90. I would at least do that. One back on defending. You can just give him a load more pace to him. Let's get him up, go up to 8 on lower body. Another one dexterity. You could do that. That's pretty nice looking build, to be fair. I quite like the look of that. I think that's a quite well balanced build on him. Yeah, personally, I'd be tempted to do that. That looks really nice actually as a centre back. It looks like a very nice centre back. Yes, he's going to be a bit lacking because of the lack of height against big tall strikers. He might have issues, but outside of that, you've got some really nice pace for a centre back. Everything's looking pretty decent. He's nice on the ball because obviously he's normally a fullback. And then second booster again, just run through the defensive ones. You got aerial, you got defending, dueling. Again, I'll do the exact same thing as I did when we looked at him as a fullback. Just throw a few randoms on him if you really want to use some of your booster tokens on these highlight cards. When it shouldn't take you too many to get a defensive one. There's a bunch of defensive ones, so I would have thought within a few randoms, hopefully we get a defensive one, and most of the defensive ones will boost some important stats on him. So yeah. Centre back or right back, this to me is like a good card. We obviously had that Showtime card, and we have had some good Koundé cards. We have had different playing styles as well. You might prefer an extra front man. You might prefer one of the player of the week ones with the attacking fullback playing style, but with the defensive fullback playing style at right back, he looks very strong, and at centre back looks very strong. This is a very nice card, centre back or right back, especially for the Spanish League Challenge, but in general, so it's a good Jules Koundé card that. And now from right back to a left back, we've got Alejandro Balde, attacking fullback. He's got a face scan, of course, only standing form. Skill-wise, we've got some new skills, excellent. So, he got a few nice kind of skill moves on the ball, self-control, but we now have pinpoint crossing, man marking, blocker, sliding tackle. So we've had some really, really good additions there. If they're going to add a bunch of skills, it would have been nice if they'd add interception. Interception is a very, very important skill for fullback, but we do at least have a bunch of new ones. So if you're going to put skills in this guy and make him really usable, there's only one skill you really need, is interception. You could argue fighting spirit as well. There's certainly some very nice additions there. So that's a very good start. Let's go train him out. Let's go over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Balde card? Well, one thing it definitely is ridiculously quick. So as always, they go super deep on lower body, 14. And those last two increases on lower body don't even increase the speed. What on earth are they doing with auto allocation? They need to change the code, the algorithm, or whatever it is, the calculations. Up to 12 lower body, you've maxed out at speed. Stamina's at 96. Why have they gone to 14? It's just utterly stupid. I mean, no offense, Konami, but yeah, that's utterly stupid. Anyways, I'm immediately going back to 12 and low body there. But yeah, pace. Defensively, he's okay for attacking fullback. Down the left, he's alright. Lofted's a bit poor, but they have given him pinpoint crossing. Yeah, this guy's already looking decent. We've got 8 points to play with already. Where do we put those points? You could beef his aerial strength up. I'd be tempted to do that, to be honest. Or would I? No, I want his crossing to be better. Wait, what am I doing? There. Yeah. It depends how you want. It depends how you're going to use him. But I think as an attacking fullback, I'll be tempted personally to go up to 80 and lofted pass there. I mean, you could go even lower on low body, crikey. Right, before we go any deeper, previous versions of Balde. This won't take long because basically this is about as good a version of Balde as we've had. We've had a player of the week card that really wasn't great from I don't know when that was, a couple of years back now. And we've had loads of highlights. I can only see one highlight that goes as high rated as this one. That's one of those ones with the green background from some kind of legend box. So yeah, this is as good as we've had from Balde. Obviously, we've got a bunch of new skills though. Looking at his GP card, biggest boost is aggression and physical contact. And they needed a boost really. They put a bit on his balance, kicking power. Apart from that, nothing else really standing out. Yeah, this looks like a good version of Balde, about as good as we've had. Arguably the best. And yeah. I would probably take even more points off low body there. So even if you went another 4 lower on low body, you've still got 95 speed, 92 stamina. That's another 12 points we can play with and put elsewhere. Now we'll go higher on aerial strength. I mean, where do you need points? Maybe a bit more on defending. You could nick a couple of dribbling there. Get all your defensive attributes 80 plus. Yeah, this is a good attacking fullback card. Yeah, I mean, you can shove the points around a bunch of different ways there, but the pace, even taking a whole lot of points away from his low body there, you got great pace on him, good stamina, physical strength we've got up to 77, which is very decent for an attacking fullback. He's got really good balance for fullback, defensively all 80 plus. Down the left, all the on the ball stuff is 80 plus. Nice. Just needs a couple of skills, and then you got a really nice attacking fullback there. If you wanted to do a defensive fullback build, if you're going to put the defensive instruction on him and just hold him back, you could take everything from the left column. He's still alright down the left, to be fair, just the lofted isn't great. Then up to 12 in defending. Gets physical contact up to 80 pretty easily. Yeah, I would probably do something just like that, I think. As a defensive fullback, is that strong enough for you? The pace is absolutely fine. Physical strength, probably fine for most people. Defensively, yeah, again, I think as a defensive fullback, he definitely do a job. It would be even more important you give him those couple more skills. I think interception would be crucial. Fighting spirit, for some people would be crucial. Not essential for everyone, but I would personally recommend it. But interception and fighting spirit, on any kind of fullback build, especially defensive fullback. I think as a defensive fullback, he still could be pretty good for you, but certainly as an attacking fullback, it looks very nice. You can't position training for centre back, but you're going to have a 175 centimetre sneaky centre back. I don't think you are. No, the physical strength kills him more than anything. Crazy pace for centre back. Defensives are okay, but yeah, you're not going to make him a centre back, are you? Let's be honest. You can make him a left winger though. Let's build him as a left winger. Let's start with auto allocation. So yeah, the dribbling certainly can be very nice on him. But again, you don't need that much on low body. You do not need that much on low body. Let's go down to 8 again, low body. We're absolutely fine for speed. He's not got great kicking power, but it only really affects shooting until someone can prove it has an effect on passing, which I'm still not 100% convinced. I mean, is shooting important? Curl would be nice for his crosses, but even if you put all those remaining points on shooting, 74 curl, it's not that much of an upgrade. I'd be tempted to take everything off shooting, to be honest. I got to 12 in passing, get him up to 90 low, 84 lofted. Got 5 points still. Can we get up to 90 in all those on the ball attributes? Sure we can. Let's take some more off low body. We're getting loads of points away from low body. Nice. So we can make him really nice on the ball there. Get a bit more attacking awareness on him. Could he do drop away as a left winger? Yes, absolutely. Don't shoot. And keep in mind, he won't have a great deal of curl or power on his crosses, so his crossing won't be amazing even with the pinpoint crossing skill. But low pass is great. On the ball, he's going to be fantastic. Great pace, good balance, great stamina. Yeah, he's maybe not got everything he needs from a winger, but stick him on the left as a left footer with a half decent cross on him could certainly be an option for you, but you would need to position train him, and I'm not sure that's really where you're going to get the best out of him. I think with this guy, we'll just leave him back on auto allocation. What you've got is a very good attacking left back. Yes, he does need 1-2 skills as a fullback, even especially if you decide to use him as a defensive fullback, and he does need a bit of retraining because, like I say, that's one of the worst auto allocations I've ever seen. Yeah, you shuffle a few points around. I think what you got there, whether you go for a bit better crossing, a bit more physical strength, whatever you want to do, with the skills they've added, albeit he still needs a couple with the attributes he's got. This is a very nice Balde card. It's a very tidy attacking left back that. Now into the midfield. Let's start with Frenkie de Jong. So face scan, orchestrator, unmoving form. He's on B at the moment. Skill wise, they've made a couple of changes here. So we've lost Scotch move and gamesmanship. I think we can live without those. We've gained interception and hang on, eFootball Hub said captaincy. What else have they added? They tricked me. Well, they've added interception. They must have added something else. I don't know what else they've added there. I don't see anything that is definitely new. Maybe someone else can point that out, but we've got a nice set of skills there. Got a bunch of skills on the ball, soul control. We've got heel trick and outside curler, one touch through weighted. Interception's a very nice addition. A very important one on any CMF or DMF. But yeah, good selection skills there. If I'm adding any skills, I'm adding in fighting spirit. And then if we're going to play him as a DMF, I'll give him man marking and blocker as well. And then I think he'd be very well equipped as a DMF orchestrator or a CMF orchestrator. You can play him centre back as well, in which case you need a whole load of defensive skills. Man marking, blocker, acrobatic clearance, aerial superiority, probably fighting spirit. I think those would be the 5 I gave him, but I don't know how good he'll be as a centre back, but we'll find out in a second. So let's just get straight over to eFootball Hub. We'll find out how good he is in all of his positions. So start off with DMF. Pretty nice looking. So it's an interesting one, De Jong. So we have had quite a few De Jong cards. We've had a player of the week version of it. That's a bit one of those kind of goated player of the week cards. That one was supposed to be a centre back, but obviously better as a midfielder still than a centre back. But that was one of those cards. It was just crazy good. We don't get those cards in player of the week anymore, and it's still a bit better than this one. Certainly as a midfielder, you could argue with this one it's a bit better defensively. So maybe as a DMF for certainly centre back, this one could be preferable actually compared to that goated player of the week card. The defenses are interesting on this one. His Showtime card is better, obviously. And he's got a legend card as well, which is obviously better as well, but it's not a massive difference actually. It's not that much better as legend card. This is his best highlight card as far as I can see. And like I say, the defenses are interesting because when you look at his GP card, it's a very mixed boost. There's not a lot going on with the left and right columns really, except there's I think about 6 points in acceleration. Yeah, but apart from that, left and right columns been boosted by between 0 and 3 points at level 1, and physical contact up by 10 actually. That's a nice boost. But that middle column is the interesting one because they put 8 on engagement, and the other 3 defensive attributes they put 11 points on. They made him a lot stronger defensively than he normally is, so that could make him a lot more usable as a DMF or a centre back potentially as well. I'm not sure the physical contact's going to go high enough for centre back, but starting as a DMF, as you can see there, defensively very strong for a De Jong card. Fantastic passing. He's tidy enough on the ball there. Got a little bit of pace about for a midfielder, a little bit of physical strength, more than he normally has. Balance is kind of okay-ish. Stamina's good. Yeah, this is looking like a pretty nice Frenkie de Jong card. Like I say, it says here he's got captaincy. I'm not sure which of those skills on eFootball Hub is missing. I think it's is it Marseille turn? Should we just go back to game and check? Let's do that. Hang on, which his skill is? Double touch, cut behind. Where's the actual game? Yeah, Marseille turn. So he's got Marseille turn. I don't know if that's been added or it's just eFootball Hub playing up, being weird. Probably that. But yeah, those are his skills there that we just saw in game. But he has got interception added, which is a great addition. And yeah, it's a DMF looking pretty nice. I just noticed though, they've gone up to 13 defending again. They don't need to do that. I mean, it's nice to hit the 90 mark for tackling, but you could go one lower there, and you could stick a booster on him, get that tackling up to 90 if you really want to get him up to 90 for tackling. What should we give him? Let's give him dueling to start with. Yeah, it's going to depend how you use him, but as a DMF, I mean, that's looking pretty nice to me. We've got 4 points there we just freed up. Let's get him a bit nicer on the ball there. Oh, there you go. Easy peasy. I'd be tempted to just go with that, to be honest. I mean, it's another one of these cards. He's that good. He's that strong. He's got that many good attributes. You could free up a bunch of points. Wonder if we can get his physical contact up to 80, actually. That'd be nice. Let's nick a bit from passing. Nice. Ooh, that's looking like a good card, you know. As a DMF, I mean, he could do a job as a proper DMF. I'm not sure he's quite got the physical strength to be an out-and-out kind of single pivot type of DMF. He's got the orchestrated playing style as well. Albeit when I did that video testing DMFs, even orchestrators, they don't really stray forward a great deal at all from DMF. No one really did, even box to boxes. But if you really want to hold back like to stay back like an anchor man, defensive instruction would do that. But yeah, just that physical contact might hold him back, and of course the lack of skills. He needs a bunch of defensive skills to be a really defensive player. But outside of the question mark over, you know, maybe the physical contact and skills, everything else is looking fantastic as DMF, and certainly some kind of double pivot as a deep line playmaker, looking really nice. He's got the passing skills, the attributes there. We've nicked a bit of passing, but it's still great. Still, he's going to be nice on the ball. Defensively, very strong there. The attacking awareness and the finishing aren't great, but he's not going to get forward that much as an orchestrator. Looking very nice as a DMF, to be honest. If you're not too bothered about the defensives, if you want to use him in a double pivot, you think you don't really need him to do too much of the defensive work. Take some points away from defending. You take a bit off aerial, maybe, if you wanted to. We could make him just ridiculous on the ball, to be honest. Just put a load more points on his technicals. In fact, yeah, we're getting to 90 plus all his on the ball attributes. A few more on his dexterity. Oof, yeah. I mean, he's still got a bit of defensive ability there, but now he's looking really saucy going forward. Interesting, yeah. In a double pivot or as a centre midfielder, looks really nice. You know, this is a really nice De Jong card. It's one of the best De Jong cards we've had. This looks really decent. And he could even push him right there out to attack midfield and position training for attacking midfield. We take all those points of defending, we free up another 12 points, and then maybe take those 4 for aerial as well. Should we make him capable of shooting? Is it worth doing that? Probably not. I'd be more inclined to get his dexterity up, get some attacking awareness. Let's do that. 80 attacking awareness, yeah. Did there 1 point spare, stick it back in aerial. Yeah, as an attacking mid, he could be very, very, very nice. Still got a little bit of defensive ability there, but you've got those passing skills. You can be nice on the ball. You could give him a couple of shooting skills as well as putting a few points on finishing, but I don't know if it's really worth it. I'll stick to just passing the ball with De Jong. He's got a bit of pace. You can get the attacking awareness up to 80, good balance. Still got a little bit of physical strength there and a bit of defensive ability, like I say, but it's going to be lovely on the ball, lovely passing. Could be a very decent attack, but you want him like the playing style. I will look into researching that at some point when I get back to those videos, but yeah. Looking at all the stats and everything, if you really want De Jong as an attack, it could be very nice. It's suggesting he could be a pretty nice winger as well. 103 for wide midfield is saying there on that chart. Should we make De Jong a winger? Why not? Let's make him a cross spammer, shall we? How much pace can we give him? Why do we always do this? That's about all we can do, actually, isn't it? Probably. Tell you what though, he could be decent. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, I don't know if anyone's going to want to train Frenkie de Jong to be a right winger to span crosses, but if you gave him pinpoint crossing, it could be pretty decent pace. Not got a great deal of kicking power, curl's not amazing, so his crossing wouldn't be amazing even with pinpoint crossing, but it'd be decent enough. But it'd be lovely on the ball though. Still have a very nice pass on with that low pass attribute, the passing skills, good attacking awareness. Yeah, he could be a very decent right winger, to be fair. As a left winger, I wouldn't change a lot really. Just as a kind of wide playmaker, really cutting inside. You give him a long range curler, even then his finish is not be great. Lots of good attributes here. I don't know. Maybe his left wing could be a decent one. I'm not sure it'd be quite as effective. I think as a right wing, you'd certainly get more value if you wanted to use him that way. But does anyone want to use De Jong as a left wing or a right wing? Let's be honest, I don't think they would do. I think for most people, this guy is going to be a DMF or a CMF. One of the ways we just built him could be really, really, really nice. But the one more position we got is centre back. I have no idea if it's going to work here, but my prediction is that physical contact's going to be too low. Yeah, it is really. Still got a dueling booster on, actually. Let's turn that off. If we go down a bit on defending, still on 14, but I'll leave that on 14. How high can we get that? Physical contact, not particularly high. Yeah, he could certainly do a job there. The physical contact for me is iffy. The vertical reach is going to be a problem. So he's what, 5'11", 5'10", 5'11", jumping in the 70s. What's the vertical reach? 261. Ouch. Yeah, so he's going to be horrific in the air. The physical contact's a bit lacking, and he needs a whole bunch of skills. You're going to use De Jong as a centre-back? Let's be honest, you're probably not. But if you're really, really desperate, then yeah, you could do, because you certainly can get some very nice attributes in certain areas, certainly the most important ones. Just there's one or two major weaknesses as a centre-back, so I wouldn't fancy that personally. But yeah, as a defensive mid or a centre mid, as I've done there, shuffling points around a few ways. I mean, the second booster, you can put it in a bunch of areas. There's so many that could boost him in a way that would be helpful. I mean, I think one that would probably give him maybe his physical contact might help, physicality, or maybe dueling. No, it doesn't give physical contact. There's a whole load. Passing, hard worker. Yeah, there's loads of boosters. This is definitely one with De Jong where I'll just throw a few randoms on. You're bound to get one quickly enough that will give him some boost in some decent areas. And yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can train him like I've done there. DMF, CMF, single pivot, double pivot, whatever you want to do. This is a really nice De Jong card. One of the best ones we've had. They're giving him a nice boost with defending, which he does need on a lot of his cards. Yeah, this is a really nice midfield card. I'm guessing this is going to be one of the best cards in the pack. And next we have Pedri, so I imagine this will be one of the better ones in the pack as well. Pedri cards, they're usually fantastic. So, got a phrase scan, of course. He's a box-to-box centre mid. He's not always a box-to-box. They've actually changed him. So, he's an orchestrator normally. They've changed him to a box-to-box for this card. That might be good news or bad news for you, depending on your preference in terms of playing styles. They made one change with skills as well. It looks like they've taken away Sombrero and replaced it with trackback, interestingly. So, yeah, similar to De Jong, lots of good stuff on the ball there with the passing, but he does need a few defensive skills. He does need interception. Pedri depends where you play him though. Centre mid or defensive mid, he really needs interception, probably fighting spirit, maybe one or two defensive skills. Depends what position you're going to use him and what role you're going to give him. If you're going to play him as an attacking mid or wide left, he doesn't need a lot. Maybe a couple of shooting skills, but he's certainly going to be lovely on the ball. He's got the passing skills there. I'm waving for him 230. You know what you get from Pedri. He's going to be lovely on the ball. He's going to be great. Let's just get him trained up straight away. So. How good are you, Pedri? Excellent. What a surprise. Oof. Yeah, this is a nice card, as you probably would have expected. Not going on with the boost. Not much going on with the boost from his GP card, to be honest. Most of his stats are up by either 0 or 1, to be honest, but they put 6 on his finishing, which he needed. Arguably, it depends where you play him again. There's a few on his speed, his kicking power, physical contact. Yeah, not a lot going on with the boost really, but as you can see, it's obviously a fantastic card, as it always is with Pedri. Stacks up pretty well against his trainable cards, his highlights. There's a bunch around the same level, but different positions and playing styles. Been orchestrator and playmaker and stuff. A few Player of the Week versions are slightly better, including a couple of box-to-box versions. So compared to his Player of the Week cards, it's not the best version of Pedri. Not a massive difference, obviously. But yeah, it's obviously a very nice card. It's just going to come down to where you want to use him. So let's start as a DMF. We'll work our way forward. I don't think it's going to be too great as a DMF. So yeah, even on auto allocation there, not brilliant defensively, not strong physically. He'd be very much some kind of deep line playmaker and some kind of double pivot type of a thing. I don't think I'd do a great deal with the build. I think it's one of these ones where you just have to accept that he's not going to be particularly strong defensively or physically. You're going to need at least one midfielder alongside him or behind him, like a destroyer or anchorman doing the defensive work, and then just get him on the ball from deep, playmaking from deep. He'll be very good at that playmaking part of things. It's just the defensive side of things physically might be a bit lacking. I don't know what I'd do with the build as a DMF. You could take a few points away from lower body, but how strong are you going to get him elsewhere? Not really very strong. It's not really worth shuffling too many points around, really. Not saying it'll be bad as a DMF by any means. Just I don't think that's where he's going to be at his best, because like I say, you're going to need a bit of physicality in defending in that area, and of course skill-wise he's lacking skills. He's got track back, but that's not going to really cut it. He needs more than that. But yeah, as a deep line playmaker, certainly with enough help from other midfielders like anchorman, etc., doing the defensive work for him, could be very decent there. But if we push him forward a bit as a centre midfielder, box to box, getting up and down the pitch, to be honest, you probably need a similar build, because you do need a bit of physicality and defensive ability as a centre midfielder. I'll probably stick with a similar build, and we'll do more attacking build as an attacking midfielder. I would stick with that. I don't think I'll change a great deal. You could say that, if you freed up 4 points from defending, if you reduce the defending by 4, you get 12 points by doing that. If you accept he's not going to be the strongest defensively, stick 1 on arrow there, only got 10 points to play with. you could put those points. I would go on to dexterity. The attacking awareness as a centre midfielder is quite important. I would do that. 2 points left. Where are those 2 points going? Get tight possession up to 90. Yeah, as a centre midfielder, I'd do that. Leaving a little bit on his defensive ability, a little bit of physical strength on him as well. We've had to go +8 on aerial to get him just up to 74 physical contact. But as a centre midfielder, I think that may well be worth it. Still got good stamina, outstanding balance, lovely technically. Yeah, that's what I'd do as a centre midfielder, box to box. I think it'd be very tidy like that. He will need interception. It'll be even more important as a DMF, but as a centre midfielder, it's still important he gets interception. I'll give him fighting spirit as well. But yeah, I think something like that as a centre mid could be very nice. Pushing a bit further forward, like I say, we're doing an attacking build now. Do one for attacking mid, and then we'll do one for a wide build. I've used my Pedri card, wide left main. He's lovely out wide. He's really nice on the ball. He doesn't have electric pace, but he's that nice on the ball that I never really noticed the lack of pace on it, to be honest. So yeah, we'll take all those points off defending and aerial, and we're going to make him an attacking midfielder. So first thing we're doing, get that dribbling up to 90, and then we're going to get his attacking awareness up to 80. We just about get his acceleration to 90. I know I've not done the second booster yet, but I really, it's not a big deal to me. Let's just, I think I'll put the last points on lower body there to get him a bit more kicking power as much as anything. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that. So yeah, like I say, with that booster, I think the most efficient way to use the booster, if you're doing an attacking mid build like that, to give him one that's going to give him some balance. What's going to give him balance? Fantasista. Yeah, Fantasista. And then you could take one back from... Oh, wait, hang on. Acceleration. We need acceleration. I was going to say one way you could dip one low on dexterity to free up 3 points and get that acceleration back. I know agility gives him that. Ball carrying. No. Oh, there's not a lot that gives you balance acceleration, is there? Striker's Instinct does. Do we need Striker's Instinct? Not really. Let's just go back to agility. So yeah, that frees up 3 points, but even then, we're going to put it, I guess, shooting. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah, I think as an attacking mid, if you're gonna choose a booster, agility, and then you can put 3 on finishing. Yeah, you could be very nice in attacking mid. Like I say, I use my mania wide left. He feels lovely on the ball. I think most of us have got a Pedri card of some kind up to this point, and we all know what he's all about and what he's like on the pitch. He's just really, really nice on the ball. He's got the passing. He really makes things happen, Pedri. He's great through the middle or wide left. He's much better, I think most would agree, getting forward in attacking positions, either through middle or wide left. But yeah, this card as an attacking mid, I think I'll be doing something like that. You might want to put a bit more on his passing. You could maybe just nick a few back from lower body there, stick him on passing. Get what's a 93 low pass, 90 lofted. But yeah, as an attacking mid, something like that, I think it could be very, very nice. It looks like another nice Pedri card. They're all nice. They kind of, some of them have a bit more speed, for example. Some of them are a bit better defensively, physically, whatever. But it's another good Pedri card. This attacking mid looks very nice. But as a wide man, let's do a wide build. We'll do a right mid build as well, because you can make him a right wing. He's going to have crossing. He's got pinpoint crossing. He's got a nice lofted pass there. In fact, let's do that first. We'll do a right wing build first. So we'll get that out of the way, because I don't think too many people really want to make Pedri a right winger. Let's start. We need to just get him a bit more speed, don't we? In fact, I think I would just do that. Not just curl up to 80, 2 points left, sticking up on the shooting, I guess. Yeah, I'll do that. Not got electric pace for a winger, but he's got that lofted at 90, a bit of curl, a little bit of kicking power with pinpoint crossing. Like I say, when I use him wide left, I never really noticed the lack of pace. So if you did position training for the right, not recommending that. You don't know how many position trainings it's going to take. But if you're all about whipping crosses in, as a right footer on the right, Pedri could be really, really nice. Lovely on the ball. He's going to have a lovely low and lofted pass. Fantastic balance. Yeah, he could be a really nice right wing if you really want to do that with Pedri. Box-to-box playing style still be active. It's an interesting playing style out wide. They'll drift inside. They'll get up and down the pitch. They'll cover a lot of ground. I do like the box-to-box playing style wings. It's quite a rare one as well. He's got fantastic stamina, which is great for a box-to-box in any position, but certainly out wide, yeah. Could be a very interesting option, but for the left, he's already position trained. So for the left, crossing not so important. Passing on the hole is not so important. We'll dip at least down to 90 for low pass. Going to leave a few points on shooting for when he cuts inside. He's got long range. No, he's not got long range curler. So if you play him on the left, give him long range curler. That will benefit him tremendously. And then what else would we do? Still got that agility booster on, haven't we? But if we're going to play him out wide, then that's probably an ideal one for him to have. I I don't know what else I'd do, to be honest. You could maybe put those last points on shooting, get finishing to 80, actually. That's quite tempting. That might be the one to do. That might be the one. Finishing 80, curl 84. You give him a long-range curl, could have a very decent finish on him. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that. So lovely on the ball. Nice passing for a wide man. Very nice. The finish will be decent. Not the quickest, but like I say, he's that good on the ball that you're not really going to notice that. It's not too important on Pedri. He's great on the ball. Outstanding balance. Great stamina, yeah. Left midfield, box to box, can be very interesting. Left wing forward, an active playing style. I keep saying I will finish off testing different positions without an active playing style at some point. But yeah, as a left winger without an active playing style, could be pretty decent there. You've got a few ways you can use this Pedri card. Same deal really as most Pedri cards. It's just maybe the playing style is going to sway you, but you've got a few ways you can use him. Definitely better going forward than he is defensively. Wide left, lovely. Attacking mid, lovely. Middle of the park with a little bit of defensive ability could be very nice for you. Could well be some kind of deep line playmaker even, but I think especially as an attacking mid or as a wide man, as is the case with most Pedri cards, it's going to be a really nice card. So yeah, it's a good strong Pedri card. You might already have a good one that you're happy with, in which case I wouldn't rush to pick up this pack just for this card. But if you don't have a Pedri card, you'd be tempted by this pack on the whole. You can have a very nice Pedri card in your hands. And next up is Dani Olmo. So Dani Olmo has a phrase going. He is now a creative playmaker. He's normally a hole player. They've changed his playing style from hole player to creative playmaker. And again, we've got a slight change with the skills. So they've taken away dipping shot and acrobatic finishing. Bit of a miss, I think, especially acrobatic finishing. They're taking that away from a lot of player of the week cards lately. They've added first time shot and outside curler. So yeah, not sure everyone's going to be happy with that. I think probably a good swap on the whole. Just acrobatic finishing is a bit of a miss, but yeah, first time shot and outside curler, certainly nice ones to have there. He's a super sub, always nice to have a super sub going forward. Got the passing skills, crossing as well. Long range curler when he plays on the left. Yeah, soul control, got a nice selection of skills really. Very nice selection of skills for an attacking mid or a wide man, left or right. But let's jump over to the hub and let's get more trained up. Let's see how good this Olmo card is. It's pretty tidy, so yeah, fantastic on the ball. That's the first thing you're going to notice, of course, with Olmo. We've had a few versions of Olmo. We've had a few player of the week cards. There's a player of the week card with the booster that's slightly better overall when he's an A form, but stats are kind of shuffled around a little bit. Outside of that, this card is pretty strong compared to his player of the week cards. Doesn't quite match up to his Showtime card, but it's not a massive difference. In terms of the rest of his highlight cards, it's up there with the better ones, to be honest. It's a good version of Olmo, this. There's one from the previous Barcelona pack that's not quite as good overall, but the stats are just kind of shuffled around a little bit. A few stats a bit higher and there's a few a bit lower. And compared to his GP card at level 1, there's loads of stats up by 2. There's a bunch up by nothing. 5 on attacking awareness. Finishing and speed, about a bunch of points. 11 on physical contact, hello. That's the biggest boost from his GP card. So not exactly a physical beast now, but he's a lot stronger than he normally is. So that does help, certainly. And yeah, it's looking like a nice Olmo card, this. Do you need all those points on the ball? I'll be tempted to nick a couple and get his low past the 90. I think as an attacking mid, if just doing that, I'd probably just do that and leave it, to be honest. I don't think you need to do a great deal more. You could make, if you wanted a little bit more speed on him, you could even nick a bit more off the ball if you really wanted to. I can get his speed up to, what, 85? Is that worth doing, or would you prefer those points on the ball? It's up to you, really. I think a lot of people would like him to just be really, really nice on the ball there. It's an attacking mid, speed isn't too important, so yeah, I'll leave him on there for attacking mid. I think that could be a nice build there. As a creative playmaker, got the passing skills. Yeah, could be pretty nice. Could be a lovely card. It's a versatile card, Olmo. Second booster before I move on to other positions. Let's try and get his balance up to 90, actually. Let's go agility, get a bit more speed and a bit more balance. And we'll just nick one back from dribbling straight onto dexterity. There you go. Nice. I would do that if you're going to stick a booster on him. If you're going to choose one, agility. If you're not going to choose one, there's loads you could get. You've got agility, ball carrying. You've got fantasista, passing. There's loads. I think with most of these cards, I don't think it's worth using your selector tokens on highlight cards. I'll save those for legends and showtimes. I think it's another card like most of these cards, but there's loads that would work well for me. I think agility would be my pick for a bit more speed to help not just balance up to 90. But like I say, there's a whole bunch like ball carrying, fantasista, etc. that would boost some relevant stats. So yeah, you can shove the points around a few ways. Attacking awareness is fantastic, by the way. 87 attacking awareness. I know it's higher than it was initially, but even initially, what was the auto allocation saying? 85 initially. That's good attacking awareness. Fantastic on the ball. Yeah, whichever way you shuffle the points around, it's very neat as an attacking midfielder. As an SS, I wouldn't do much different, to be honest. If you're position training for SS, it'd still be a creative playmaker there. I'll train him the same way as an attacking mid, to be honest. I wouldn't touch him as a centre midfielder. He's not strong enough defensively or physically. It'd just be such a waste of all his attacking ability. But yeah, attacking mid or SS, same kind of build. And then you've either got him as a winger or as a striker. Let's just try him as a striker, get that out of the way. I don't think he's going to be good as a striker, is he? Oh, he's not bad. Hello. Do you want to make Dani Olmo centre forward? You could do, you know. I mean, he's not going to have electric pace, but the acceleration is fantastic. The balance is great. Awareness and finishing at 90. Lovely on the ball. Nice passing. Very nice passing for a striker. Ooh. In fact, if you nick one off aerial, low pass at the 80. That could be a really interesting centre forward, actually. I'm not recommending you do that necessarily. They've given him first time shot. It's got long range curler as well. Shame they've taken acrobatic finishing away, but Dani Olmo, the centre forward, that might not be a bad one. No active playing style. Again, I'll get around to that. I'll prove what happens when you do that. But I can tell you from experience, not a great deal. It works fine. Yeah, that could be a really interesting centre forward, actually. Are you going to use your position trainers to make Dani Olmo a striker? Probably not. I'm not sure anyone's going to do that. But looking at the stats, you could do a lot worse. I mean, can you get him up to 90 on the ball? Probably not. You can nick a bit more speed. Is that worth doing? Maybe. He could be a really interesting centre forward, actually. Not the quickest necessarily, but yeah, it could be a very interesting striker. So there's an option for you. A little bit out on left field. But on the wings, whether he's a left wing forward or if you're position training for left mid or right mid, either way, in all those wide positions, his creative playmaker playing style will be active. He's going to be active in all of his positions, except for striker or centre mid if you decide to train him for those positions. So wide left or wide right, what should we start with? Let's start with wide left, because we've got a load of points on finishing there. But then we're going to take them away anyway, so I should have just auto-allocated. Right, hang on a minute. Let's just see. We need some speed if he's going to play out wide. And let's give him the agility booster. Or can we get him to 90 speed? Need a bit more dribbling actually as well, don't we? Passing is not so important. As a left wing, he's going to cut inside and get shots away. So let's get him 90 speed. Bit more dribbling. Something like that as a left winger. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. I quite like the look of that. I think it could be pretty handy left wing. In fact, you don't need all that dexterity, do you? Let's make him give him a bit more on the ball. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nice as a left winger. So you got the pace now. Still really nice on the ball there. Fantastic attacking awareness. Got the finishing in the 80s. We've taken a load of points of passing, but out wide it's not so important. He's got those passing skills. Balance at 90. Left wing forward could be pretty interesting, or left midfield. I don't know if it's worth training for a left midfield, but certainly a wide left either of those positions as a playmaker. Not my favourite playing style for a winger. I've said it a million times. They're just not as aggressive with their forward runs, but it's personal preference. Certainly looking at the stats, could be very decent coming off that left wing. On the right wing, he's got pinpoint crossing as a right footer. Can you make his crossing good enough to make him decent as a right winger? I'm not sure. I think you'd have to sacrifice a bit in a couple of areas. I think that is about as much as you could do if you want to keep him quick. If you're not too bothered about the pace, let's just give him the crossing booster first, actually. You can at least get his low past the 90, lofted 85. Is that worth doing? Could he be good on the right? He could be decent. He's got he's got outside curler. He's got the passing, so he's not just gonna be whipping crossing. He could be a creative playmaker out wide. Will often drift inside and kind of hang back and look to kind of get into positions to playmate from. So he's not just gonna be getting up and down the wing like a cross specialist, just whipping crosses in. So yes, he can make his crossing decent, not amazing, but decent. He's already got pinpoint crossing. He's still going to have nice passing when he drifts inside. He'll have a shot on him. Shame he's not got 1 point, but I'm finishing now. I'm sure we can nick one from somewhere. Can we? Another one from dexterity. Why not? Yeah, could be pretty handy from the right, to be fair. So he's going to have a cross, but with that creative playmaker, the movement he's going to make, drifting inside, he's still got the passing. He's still got a shot on him as well. So it could be an option playing him on the right. So he's got some versatility as Olmo card. And like I say again, with the booster, there's a bunch you can get. I'll just throw some randoms. You'll get something half decent quickly enough. I'll just leave an auto allocation attacking mid. So yeah, that's a handy card. That is, it's a nice version of Olmo. Stacks up pretty well against most previous versions. A couple of changes to his skills, which I think for most people are probably an upgrade on the whole, albeit accurate finishing. Very nice one to have, so it's a shame we've lost that. But looking at the stats, he's going to be lovely on the boards. A few ways you can use him. Through in the middle behind the attack. Even as a centre forward, he could do it. Could be pretty decent there. It's a very interesting one. I wasn't expecting that. But certainly as a wide man, maybe he's on the right, but especially from the left. I think most people would like him from the left, actually, cutting inside into his right foot. It could be handy that way. So he's versatile. He's a super sub again. Really nice having attacking super subs. So for the Spanish League Challenge, could be pretty handy. But even outside of that, it's a tidy card. It's versatile. A few ways you can use him. And that's a pretty nice looking Dani Olmo card. And next we have Raphinha. Got his face scan, and he is a whole player left midfielder. So they've changed him on a bunch of cards to a left midfield whole player. Why don't they just change his GP card and be done with it? But yeah, they have changed him. Normally a left and forward left winger. Once again, he's been changed to a left midfield whole player. Unwavering form. I think he's being consistent, so it's good that he's out unwavering these days. That is fair after the season he's just had. Skill-wise, one change. They've taken away Scissors Feint. I think we can live without that. They've replaced it with long-range shooting. Nice addition. If you plan to use this guy from the right, then long-range curler might have been a better addition, but certainly long-range shooting will help. That's a good one to have, and he deserves that as well. Yeah, let's get over to the hub. Let's train him up straight away. So, how good is this Raphinha card? It's not the best Raphinha card. It's decent. I was expecting him to be a bit better on the ball. That type possession sucks a bit as well. So yeah, how does he compare to our previous Raphinha cards? So he stacks up pretty well against his Player of the Week cards. We've had some pretty nice ones though. We've had a couple of Showtime versions which are better, unsurprisingly. Overall, he's up there with his better highlight cards. So it's not necessarily the best. I mean, obviously his Showtime cards are the best. And there are one or two Player of the Week and highlight cards of Raphinha which are perhaps slightly better on the whole. Certainly with some attributes there, some way you can make him a bit better on the ball, for example. But this is a good version of Raphinha on the whole. But yeah, like I say, I was expecting as a winger he might be a bit better on the ball there. But we can free up a couple of points from elsewhere. Depends how you want to use him. Let's start as a left winger. So he's a left footer on the left. He does have pinpoint crossing already. So his crossing with pinpoint crossing 82 lofted. His crossing will be okay. It won't be amazing. Could we free up some points to make it better? Let's start with the crossband build. Why not? You can actually nick a bunch of points from his pace. Let's go up to 12. Well, not quite at 12. Hang on. Yeah, you can go all the way up to 12 and passing. Get his lofted pass to 87. A little bit of curl, decent kicking power. Yeah, we'll have a fairly nice cross on him. Still got good pace, but I'd like him to be a bit better on the ball though. So yeah, it's not exciting me too much. Let's just nick a couple back from passing. Yeah, that looks a bit nicer to me. Got a couple 90 plus on the ball there. I would personally be tempted to do that. You'll have you won't have an amazing cross on him. Your crosses won't be deadly exactly, but they will still be decent. But he's a bit nicer on the ball there. That type of possession does concern me a little bit. He's still got that pace. Yeah, as a left winger, pretty tidy. Left midfield with a whole player playing style active. He'll also be drifting inside at times as a whole player, so he will sometimes get into a position to shoot or pass the ball. He's not got the passing skills though. Skill-wise, I think in any position, I think that the skills to give him for me would be long-range curler, first-time shot, one-touch pass, through passing, and then I don't know, maybe his fighting spirit. I think that the passing and shooting would be what I'd start with. But yeah, left midfield whole player or left wing forward could be pretty decent. Through the middle, can he make him an attack midfielder? He'd really need those passing skills then. Let's go auto allocation first. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even if you went all the way up to 12 on passing, 84 low pass, bit iffy. I don't fancy this guy's an attacking mid. There's an SS maybe. If you play him as an SS and you focus more on getting into good positions to shoot and you're careful with the passing, he would still need those passing skills no matter what. But as an SS just behind the attack, yeah, he could be tidy actually. He could be decent. Balance isn't amazing, is it? Yeah, if you position training for SS to play him just off your striker through them in a central position, could be decent. Could well be decent. But like I say, that passing is a bit of a question mark. For some people, that passing will be a bit low for SS. For me, it's a bit iffy. Even with one-touch pass and through passing, if you gave him those skills, I'd still be a bit concerned. So yeah, not entirely convinced as an SS. You need to position train him, give him some skills as well. Could be handy for some. I'm not entirely convinced though. Wide right though, I think with Raphinha, that is, in fact, centre forward. Let's do centre forward first. You're going to get another sneaky centre forward in this pack. Ooh, I was about to say I'm not so sure, but yeah, you could actually. Interesting. I mean, first things first, we don't do those points off physical. Let's get always on the ball attributes a bit higher, all 80 plus. Yeah, speed great at 90, acceleration 98. Wow, good balance. Attacking awareness 92, finishing 90. Good on the ball for striker. Interesting. So you would need a couple of skills. First time shot. Maybe I'll give him long range curler as well. But as long as you're okay with like a playing style as a centre forward, that could actually be another tidy card. So you could have Raphinha or Dani Olmo as a sneaky striker. Could definitely do a job for you. In this case, you'd need to give him a couple of skills, like I say. But yeah, you got that option. You certainly got that option. Whether anyone's going to do that, not convinced, but certainly got the option. But as I was about to say, wide right, I think wide right is where most people would probably look to play Raphinha. So let's make him quick again. Let's get, well, we don't need to kick him about that high, do we? Let's go down to 8 dexterity. Passing not so important out wide. You're going to cut inside into his left foot and you're going to crack shots off, aren't you? Let's be honest. Bit of curl on his shots. 2 points left. Where are they going? I don't know. Shooting. Yeah, decent. Yeah, I was expecting him to be a little bit better, to be honest. This is a good card. It's a solid version of Raphinha. I was just expecting him to be a little bit better at this point. I mean, he was one of the contenders for the Ballon d'Or. I personally thought he should have won it. He's one of the best players in the world last year, so I feel like he deserves a little bit better, to be honest. But it is a good card. I don't want to sound negative. Obviously, it's a good card. I was just expecting that whichever kind of build you give him, it'd just be a little bit better. But maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I was expecting a bit too much. It's still a good card, this. Wide right, pace, pretty good on the ball. Certainly very good finishing there. If you gave him long range curler especially, could be very effective off that right wing. You won't have an active playing style as a right wing forward. But again, I've never noticed an issue with that, and I will prove that at some point, hopefully. And he could, of course, position train for right midfield, in which position he would be a whole player. So, yeah, you got a few ways you can use this Raphinha card. But just like I say, there's still 1 or 2 attributes with him, which I just feel like it could be a little bit high. You know, you could do with a little bit more balance, a little bit more tight possession. Could maybe do with a couple more skills, maybe some passing skills. Long range curler as well, maybe. But it's a good card still. It's versatile. I've got a few ways you can use him. I think, to be honest, pretty decent left or right, and you could certainly get away with them through the middle, just behind the attack, if you're okay with the passing. But as a centre forward as well, you can make a sneaky centre forward. So yeah, like with Dani Olmo, you've got a few ways you can use him. He's versatile, can be a very handy one for your Spanish E squad. Maybe it's not quite as exciting as I feel like it deserved to be for Raphinha, for how good he's been for Barca recently, but still a good card. It's a solid version of him, stacks up pretty well against most of his previous versions. So yeah, it's another one where it's pretty versatile, he's pretty good on the whole. Maybe he needs 1 or 2 skills, but it's another good card. Oh, and before I forget, his GP card, biggest boost, physical contact. That's the biggest boost he's had. The rest, a bunch up by 0, some 1s and 2s, not a lot going on really with the boost. That's probably why it's not quite as exciting as I was expecting. But physical contact at least has had a decent boost. But yeah, it's another good card. So a good solid Raphinha card. And next up we have Lamine Yamal. This will be one of the ones most people are keen on in the pack. So got a face scan, creative playmaker. He's normally a roaming flank right wing forward. They've changed him to a right midfielder and made him a creative playmaker this time. Unwavering form. Have they changed anything skill-wise? I don't think they have. So obviously a bunch of skill moves there. Long range curler, 3-points, improvement crossing. Really nice section skills for a right winger, which is what he is. Although you can make him a left winger or a striker. We'll have a look at that. But let's go over to the hub. See how good this Yamal card is. So pretty tidy. So yeah, this is about as good as any of his Player of the Week cards. If anything, it's slightly better than his Player of the Week cards. Although the playing style might put you off a bit. Puts me off a bit certainly. Pretty similar to his Showtime card actually. His Showtime has a bit more passing than this one, whereas this one's got a bit more awareness and finishing. There's not a lot of difference really between this and his Showtime card, interestingly. His Legend cards, he's got a couple of Legend cards already, obviously a bit better than this one, but if you look at his starter pack one in particular, pretty similar overall really. Slightly different kind of build in terms of where the points are kind of allocated and things. This one's got a bit more pace, whereas there's a bit more passing again on the starter pack one, but yeah. It's a pretty good version of Yamal, and it's better than his other highlight cards that he's had. It's a nice Yamal card. It's a fairly mixed boost out from his GP card. Nothing really stands out massively. Physical contact, again, the biggest boost. Nothing on his pace or dribbling, but he doesn't need it, to be fair. So yeah, you got a pretty nice looking Yamal card here. Great on the ball, great pace. He's got a little bit of end product. Good balance. Yeah, very nice looking. There's a point on defending. Yoink, I'll take that back. And I'm going straight to that second booster and get his balance up. Interesting. I mean, actually, you get balance on shooting, don't you? No, which is the one where you get balance? It's crossing. It's something weird where you get balance. Let me just skim through all of them until we get balance. Agility, ball carrying, Fantasista, physicality. Yeah, there's a bunch of boosters that will give you balance, nudge them up to the 90 mark. But let's just shuffle some points around first. Because if you're going to shuffle the build around a little bit, I mean, what do you need to do really? It's just the balance would be nice to be at the 90 mark, but even that's not going to make a great deal of difference. We've got 1 point from defending. We just need 2 from one of these. Let's just nip off and dribbling, I guess. Bang, there you go, 90 balance. That's going to make very little difference, but it looks nicer. Yeah, this is a good Yamal card. I don't think you really need to shuffle points around at all, to be honest. I mean, maybe as if you wanted to. If you're going to play him on the right wing, you're going to focus more on his shooting, albeit he's a creative playmaker. But if you're still going to focus more on cutting inside and getting shots around his left foot, you could take a few points off his passing there. You could beef his finishing up even more, get the curl up to 90. You could just do that, actually. I imagine for a lot of people that might be the kind of build that you might want to go for. Have a very nice finish on him with long range curler there. Still got the through passing, the pinpoint crossing, but that's not what he's going to be all about, is it? Let's be honest. I think that, to be honest, I would just stick with pretty much that. The auto allocation, I don't think you really need to change a great deal. Just maybe if you want to focus more on the shooting, you could do that. If you did want to focus more on the passing and the fact he's a playmaker, get the most out of the playmaker playing style, you could take all those points away from the shooting and get his passing up to there, which is, I mean, still not amazing, to be fair, but certainly it's better for a wide man that's decent. He's got through passing, you could do that. It's up to you really, or you could just go with something like the auto allocation and just have a bit on both, bit of passing, bit of shooting. Very handy, as you'd expect. It's going to be a very nice Yamal card on the ball. Playing style won't be for everyone, it won't be for me, that's for sure, but I've got a roaming flank version, I'll just stick with that, thank you very much. But in terms of other positions, he's a right midfielder now, so you could actually train him to be an attacking midfielder if you've got the position trainers. What does auto allocation says an attacking midfielder? It says he's crazy on the ball but not regular passing. Let's just change that a bit, shall we? So if we're going up to 12 on passing, you can at least get his low pass to 90. Let's give him the technique booster. Tell you what, he's actually alright as an attacking mid. That could be an option for you if you really wanted to do that. If you wanted Lamine Yamal playing through the middle, you could nudge his speed up to 90 and his balance up to 90. Ooh, yeah, hello. Creative playmaker, attacking midfielder, lovely on the ball, good passing. He's got through passing, you can give him one-touch pass as well. I'd personally give him fighting spirit because he's not that strong physically. That might help him in the middle of the park. He's still got decent finishing. Pretty nice attacking awareness from an attacking mid. Good pace, great balance. Not great kicking power behind his shots, but it's not a disaster. Yeah, attacking midfielder Lamine Yamal could be an option for you if you really wanted to do that for whatever reason. I'm not sure it's what many people would want to do, but you might want to because you could certainly make him pretty nice in that position. You could make him, what else can you make him? Striker or left wing forward. That's the only other positions you can give him. Oh, actually, you can make him a right back. Should I just destroy any remaining credibility I've got by training Lamine Yamal as a right back? Amazing. Defensive beast. Yeah, let's forget I ever did that. Please don't unsubscribe. Right, Lamine Yamal as a striker. What about as a striker? Yeah, maybe as a striker. Let's take the boost off for a second. I mean, the attacking awareness and finishing aren't brilliant, let's be honest. Can we get them any better? Not particularly. I mean, you can get them a bit better. Actually, we can use a booster here. What do we give him? Striker's instinct. That boosts his awareness and his finishing. And then we can get his finishing up one. Oh, hang on, what was that? No, it's dexterity I was looking at. Yeah, I think realistically that's about as much as you can do as a centre forward. He could do a job for you there, to be fair. Yeah. Is that what you want to do with Yamal? For most people, probably not, but pace, just about borderline awareness, finishing, fantastic on the ball for striker, great balance. If you give him first time shot, acrobatic finishing, maybe there's a couple more skills. You could make Yamal a centre forward if you wanted to. Is that what a lot of people are going to want to do? Probably not, but it's an option for you. You've got a few sneaky centre backs in here. Left wing forward, he's got pinpoint crossing. if you're going to play wide forwards and spam some crosses in, could you make Lamine Yamal a bit of a cross spammer? Let's just see. Let's start with the crossing booster. In fact, we'll leave that off initially. Hang on. So, what we're going to do? We're going to get his passing nice and high, aren't we? Can't get it that high, really. Yeah, so he's not going to have a deadly cross on him, but with pinpoint crossing and lofted passing in the mid-80s, yeah, his crossing will be alright. What else does he need? Not a lot, actually. Bit more curl, maybe. We'll give him some more curl and finishing. Yeah, he could be decent left wing forward. Crossing booster. Not going to make a lot of difference. I mean, the second boosters don't make much difference. I always say it. I hate being a Scrooge about it, but I just don't get excited about second boosters. And like I say, these are just highlight cards. I don't think it's worth wasting your booster tokens on these when you're probably going to get Legends or Showtimes at some point. But yeah, with the crossing booster especially, decent cross. Still going to be great on the ball. Fantastic attacking man, so he can still shoot when he comes inside. Great pace, especially the acceleration. Balance is outstanding. Yeah, you could play him wide left, put some crosses in. He could be pretty effective that way. And of course, he's still got through passing. He's got outside curl as well. Yeah, you could play him on the left, but I think for the vast majority of people, we'll go back to the auto allocation. I'll put him on auto allocation as a right wing forward, not a right mid. Oof, you can make him extraordinarily good on the ball. Yeah, this is a good Lamine Yamal card. It's definitely one of the better cards in this pack. You can see there from the rating 103. I'll take that crossing booster off. Oh, 102, my bad. But again, you could put some random booster tokens on. There's loads you can get. You can get agility, you can get ball carrying. There's loads that will boost some of the important stats, and that will make them 103. But obviously, the overall rating doesn't make a difference. That's just a guide. So yeah, another really good Lamine Yamal card. I'm a little bit surprised how good it is in comparison to other versions, including that starter set one and his Showtime one. So yeah, this is a good card. One of the better cards in this pack. You do have a few ways you can use him. Could actually be a pretty nice attacking midfielder. I was surprised by that. But for most people, I'm sure, wide right, cutting aside into his left foot, pace, trickery on the ball. A very, very nice Lamine Yamal card, that. And last but not least, we have Marcus Rashford, who has a face scan and who has a new playing style. He is now a cross specialist. What on earth are they doing? So he's normally a prolific winger, which is what he is, but on this card, he's a cross specialist, which is not what he is. Okay, and then skill-wise, they've taken away penalty specialist, and they've given him long-range curler. So when he comes inside, which he won't do as a cross specialist, he won't do it a lot anyway, he's got long-range curler. What are they doing? Anyway, so yeah, we got a cross specialist, Marcus Rashford. Oh, you can train him. I mean, he's already trained for the right, actually. Maybe he will be a cross spammer with his absolutely diabolical crossing. Anyway, so yeah, we got Marcus Rashford. Let's go to eFootball Hub. So, how good is this Marcus Rashford card? It's alright. He's rapid. He's got insane kicking power. Great dribbling. Nothing else is looking too amazing, and he's a cross specialist. Right, so he's, yeah, in terms of overall ability, pretty similar to his better player of the week cards. They've all got different kind of playing styles. We've had whole player, we've had goal poacher. Highlight wise, it's not the best either as a left winger or as a centre forward, to be honest, but it's not the worst either. Kind of middle of the road sort of thing. The boost is after his GP card. They put 6 on dribbling, 7 on tight possession, nothing on ball control, 10 in physical contact, 5 balance. Everything else between 0 and 2. There's your boost from his GP card at level 1. And yeah, he's a cross specialist. What on earth are they doing? So he's going to stay out wide a lot more. I mean, I kind of get that in a way. You know, as a cross specialist with that playing style, you don't have to cross the ball. You're just going to kind of loiter out wide a lot, and he does do that, to be fair. So I can kind of understand it in a way, but I still think it's just leave him as a prolific winger. Who wants Rashford to do a cross specialist? Seriously, in the comments, if you genuinely like the fact he's a cross specialist, let me know. Because if that's the case, if there's people who think that's a good idea, great, fair enough. But I just can't help feeling like there's nobody that wants him to be a cross specialist. It's just weird. I mean, a prolific winger stays out wide quite a lot, to be fair, in my findings. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so. What we do with the points, you can certainly spare some on lower body. He's not got great stamina, but he's going to get tired no matter what you do. So I'd be tempted to take a bunch off lower body there. It'd be nice to make him better on the ball, because the ball control and tight possession aren't amazing, but we've already got 12 on dribbling, so you can't really. So What do you do? I think for most people, you want to make his finishing better. Maybe just go up to 70. Got 3 points left. Bit more balance on him. Yeah, I think for me personally, come off the left wing, whatever you do, his passing is going to be terrible. And he's not got any passing skills either. I mean, you look at the skills of Rashford, you know what you get with Rashford. You've got a couple of skill moves there. Double touch and flip flop. If you give him sole control, he's got the ball roll, double touch. I think the dribblers would definitely be tempted to do that. Long range curl, most importantly, long range curl, long range shooting, knuckle shot, dipping shot, first time shot. He wants to shoot, not pass. You want to get the ball out wide. You want to cut inside. You just want to absolutely ping it on his right foot. I've had a couple of Rashford cards. That's absolutely what he's best at. He's rapid. You get him on the ball and you just get him into a shooting situation. You just ping it. He's got a nice shot on him. He hits it really nicely. I don't know if that's any kind of player idea or just the fact he's got crazy kicking power, but he does have a nice shot on him. I think that's probably what I'd personally be doing. If I'm using this Rashford card, that's probably how I'd train him coming off the left wing. You can make him a striker still. Is this going to be a good striker version of Rashford? Not really. Finishing 82 is not great. This is fully boosted as well. Before the game plan boost, he's only got 80 finishing, and that's with 9. That's going up to 9 on shooting. So not the best Rashford card as a striker. We've had 1-2 bet ones as a striker certainly, but crazy pace, crazy kicking power, half decent attacking awareness. You can certainly still get away with him as a centre forward, but like I say, I don't think it's the best version of him as a centre forward, primarily because of that finishing being pretty iffy. As an SS, the passing would be terrible. I don't know about that, and he's not really great on the ball. Depending how you build him. It is an option, but I don't think many people would really fancy him as an SS, albeit, actually, before I go any further, if you play him out wide and you don't like the cross-specialist playing style, you could position train him as an SS, and then put him out wide and change his position to SS. So if he is a wide SS, he won't have an active playing style. You might prefer the cross-specialist. So if you went with the original build that we had there, whatever that was, I've forgotten now. Before I forget the second boost, so let's give him technique, make him a bit better on the ball. I don't remember what I did for the build, but it was similar to that. We just got his finishing up a bit, didn't we? Oh yeah, lower body onto finishing, that's what we did. Bang. Yeah. If you position train Rashford as an SS, you can play him as a wide SS, and then you won't have that cross-specialist playing style. So if you really don't like that cross-specialist playing style, and that's putting you off the card, you can do that. If you've got the position trainers, you can make him an SS and you can still play him out wide. He won't be a cross specialist, so without an active playing style, he'll drift inside more. I can't really give you more detailed analysis of what he's like as an SS without an active playing style out wide, because I've not covered that yet, but I will one day. But yeah, that is an option for you if you wanted to do that, if you really want to avoid that cross specialist playing style. And then the other way you could use him, right wing. Can we actually make Rashford a cross spammer and make the most of that cross specialist playing style on the right hand side? I doubt it, but let's find out. Hang on, let's just take loads of points away from his pace because we can afford to. No, you can't. I mean, even if you gave him pinpoint crossing, which he doesn't have, and if you're going to make him a cross specialist, give him crossing at least. But yeah, they've not done that. You can get his lofted pass all the way up to 76. Let's just forget that. Yeah, this is just a weird card. What they've done with the playing style, just that alone makes it a weird card. It is a solid version of Rashford. It's not the best version of him. We've had a bunch of better versions. We've had a lot of versions with a better playing style. You could argue all of his other versions have a better playing style. But like I say, if you've got the position trainers, you can shake off the playing style if you wanted to play him out wide as a wide SS. But yeah, the playing style certainly, making him hug the touchline the way it will do, is a bit of a weird one. But he's got qualities. He's rapid. He's got the kicking power. He's got good dribbling. And yeah, he can make his finishing decent. But all things considered, is it a decent version of Rashford? Yes. Can you bypass that cross specialist playing style if you wanted to? Yes. But it's not the best version of Rashford. It's just, I think it's just one. But if you don't have a version of him already, it could be a handy one to have. But I don't think too many people are going to be too excited to pick this one up. It's probably going to be one of the less appealing ones in the pack. It's not, like I say, it's not quite the best version of Rashford. Certainly not one of the better ones. And that playing style as well will put people off as well. So it's, all things considered, one of the less appealing ones in the pack. But that doesn't mean it's a bad card. It's still, the cross specialist playing style might work for you. And it's still a decent version of Rashford. So yeah, not for everyone though. But for some people, it could still be a decent one, I guess. So before I get to looking at the 900 million download campaign cards, we've got a few more Barca cards to look at in there. Just to summarise this pack, I think it's a decent one. You've got some good cards in there. You've got a good goalie, Joan García, solid goalie. Then you've got Cubarsí, Araújo and Koundé, who can all be good centre-backs. Koundé can also be a very good defensive right-back. Some good cards there in midfield. A very nice version of De Jong, especially with the boost they're given to his defending. He could be a very, very nice midfielder. Pedri is just Pedri. Obviously, he's going to be a great one as well. I like him best through the middle as an attacking mid or as a left winger. Lovely on the ball, great card. Everyone knows it, though. We all know by now Pedri's great. The wide men, you've got a good version of Yamal. Creative playmaker might not be the playing style for you, but if it is, very nice version of Yamal that, and you can make him a very interesting attacker mid. And you've got a few players you can make a sneaky centre forward as well. Yamal, Raphinha, who was the other one? Olmo. You've got some interesting attacking players there who can be used in a few different ways. And there's no out and out centre forward really apart from Rashford, but yeah. And Hansi Flick, obviously, who's I forget what his playing styles are. What's possession and quick counter, yeah. So yeah, just depends on what you're looking for from the pack really. Depends on your playing styles in terms of Hansi Flick. But you've got some very good cards in there. It just depends on what playing styles you're after and what kind of cards you want and what versions you've already got of these players, obviously. But there are some very good cards in there. So for a lot of people, that could be a pretty good value pack, that. Right, let's take a look at these 900 million download campaign cards then. We've got 4 highlights in here. There's Gavi, Ferran Torres, Fermín López, and Christensen. And we've also got Showtime Lewandowski that I imagine the vast majority of us will be picking up as well. So let's start with Ferran Torres. So Ferran Torres is a roaming flank. You can play on the right, on the left, or through the middle. Got a face gun, standard form. No difference to these free ones in terms of skills and playing style, stuff like that. He's got a decent section of skills. If you're going to play him up front, though, you're really going to need to give him first time shot. You might want to give him a long range curler, either as a striker or as a left winger. He's a super sub. Always nice to have a good attacking super sub. Let's go train him up on eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this Ferran Torres card is. It's decent. We've had quite a few Ferran Torres cards. We've had a bunch of Player of the Week cards. To be fair, a number of those Player of the Week cards are slightly better than this one, either as a winger or a centre forward. He doesn't compare too well to his better highlight cards either as a winger. There was a free one on a kind of dark red background. I forget how long ago that was. It's quite a recent one. It's just about as good as this one, really. But as a centre forward, it's one of the better highlights we've had, to be fair. So it depends how you want to use him. If you like him as a winger, it's probably not the best version of him. But as a centre forward, it could be a pretty good one. He's had a pretty mixed boost from his GB card. Physical contact's the biggest boost he's had, better than the rest. And yeah, certainly as a winger on auto allocation, he's a left winger initially here. Pretty tidy. Another one of these wingers where you're going to have to be careful with the passing. No passing skills. And it's like his passing attributes aren't great, but the finishing is decent. He's decent on the ball, not amazing, but he's certainly not bad. Good attack awareness for a wide man. Roaming flank, I always say I like that playing style for a wide man. They'll drift inside, take off some very interesting attacking positions. And he's got some pace, bit of kicking power, little teeny bit of physical strength with the boost he's been given. Reasonable balance as well. Yeah, he looks fairly useful. I quite like Ferran Torres in game. He's a useful one. He's not amazing at anything, but he's quite a tidy one for me. He's picked up a few goals for me. I quite like him. In terms of the way the points are allocated, I wouldn't change a great deal really. There's not really a great deal you can do. The most points have been allocated to dribbling, but do you want to dip below 90 on dribbling, especially when his type possession is only 85? Probably not. You could maybe think a couple of his dexterity there if you wanted to, just to maybe beef up his passing, I guess. That's not dexterity, is it? That's dexterity. Is that worth it? I'm not sure. He's still going to be pretty iffy at passing. I think, to be honest, I'll stick with auto allocation. It's one of those rare cards where I think the auto allocation works pretty well. So as a left winger, like I say, I personally need to give him a long range curl and first time shot. Maybe his long range shooting. But coming off that left wing, he looks reasonably tidy. It looks all right. Like I say, there was a winger. It's not the best version of Ferran Torres. Right wing, he does have pinpoint crossing. But again, how good is that lofted pass going to be? I mean, if you take a bunch off his pace and maybe a bit off on the ball, maybe take all those points off shooting, how good can you make his crossing? I mean, you can get it over 80 just about, but even then, I mean, 72 goal, kicking power's okay. Is his crossing going to be great? No. He could be all right on the right wing, but not brilliant. So yeah, decent left wing, maybe he's all right on the right wing, not amazing. Through the middle though, I did say as a centre forward, it's one of the better versions we've had of him. See there with auto allocation, the awareness at 90, speed 90, acceleration 96. So what you often get when you turn a winger into a striker, they have to put loads of points on dexterity to get his attack awareness up. So you end up with crazy acceleration. The balance up to 90 as well, a bit of physical strength. The finishing could be a little bit higher. I'd like it to be a little bit higher, up to around the 90 mark, but it's close enough. He's okay on the ball. Do you have any points we could shuffle around here? Not a great deal, really. You can take those 4 off aerial, get 1 more in finishing. There's no second boost on these 3 ones. 1 point spare, I'll just stick that on passing. So, yeah. Is he amazing as a centre forward? No, but if you gave him first time shot, especially maybe long range curler, maybe acrobatic finishing, I think based on these stats, he could be decent. Again, no active playing style there. But I do think he could definitely do a job for you. He could do worse, but it's not a top card by any means. But it's certainly, compared to other versions of Ferran Torres, it's one of the better ones as a centre forward, I would say. And then in those other 2 positions he's got there, SS and attacking mid, is his passing going to be good enough? As an attacking mid, definitely not. We'll just go to water allocation here, and you can see there, even with 8 on passing there, 77 low pass, no passing skills, absolutely not. As an SS, I think I was saying similar with, I think it was Raphinha just now. Tidy on the ball, decent finishing. If you focus more on getting to good attacking positions and scoring goals, just behind the attack, he could do a job for you, but you will have to be careful with the passing. I'm not sure that's where he'd be best. I'm definitely not sure it'll be worth the position trainers and the skill trainers that you need to use to get him. Oh, he's got 3 passing. I forgot about that actually. So he does have 3 passing at least. So yeah, he could be usable SS, but still, even with 3 passing, the passing's a bit iffy there. To get it any higher, it's difficult to really justify taking points away from elsewhere, to be honest. So I think he's definitely going to be best, this guy. You know, usable just behind the attack and wide right maybes, but as a centre forward could be decent, and we'll go towards allocation as a left winger. Likewise, could be very decent there. In my personal experience, he's a pretty handy one. So if you don't have a version of him, could be a handy one to pick up, could be useful for your Spanish League squad at least. If you do have a good version, you may well have a better version for the wing, albeit not necessarily as a striker. So for some people, probably not the best card to pick up, but a fair few people I think could have a decent card in their hands if they get this one. Right, Gavi is next. So Gavi, whole player centre midfielder. Again, it's the usual playing style and everything else. They've not changed the profiles on these 3 ones. Got his face scan, only Sterner form. Skill-wise, he got 1 touch and through. Got a few nice ones on the ball there, but nothing defensively. It's going to depend on what position you use him, how you're going to use him. So if you're going to use him as a centre mid, I would definitely look to give him at least interception. Maybe he's 1 or 2 more defensive ones, but certainly on the ball and getting forward, he's got some nice ones. Wide left, you probably want to give him a long range curler, to be fair. But he's got the passing. He's going to be nice on the ball. Some nice on the ball skills there. Let's train him up. Let's see how good he is. How good is this Gavi card? It is pretty tidy looking. Pretty tidy. So he's had a fairly mixed boost from his GP card. Defensive awareness, stamina, a bit more than everything else, to be honest. No boost to his anything from dribbling down to lofted pass, really. So you might say that's a bit harsh, but he's already high enough down there. So yeah, decent enough boost on the whole. He's had a couple of Player of the Week cards. This looks a bit better than both, to be honest, but not a massive difference in either case. He's had a Showtime card, which obviously is better than this one. It's not his best highlight card, to be fair. I've had a few slightly higher rated, but not a massive difference, and the stats do get shuffled around from one version to another. So not the best Gavi card, but if you don't have a good one, or if you've got one of the lower rated ones, then this could be a good one to pick up for you. He's certainly got some ability here. It's going to be a question of what position you want to use him in, though. So let's start with DMF and we'll work our way out the pitch. I'm not sure how good he'll be defensively. So it's a mixed bag. You see, he's got fantastic defensive engagement and aggression, but tackling, okay, that's decent if you got to, I mean, I've gone to 13 on defending. Again, that's not efficient. Over 80 at least tackling, but defensive awareness, though, that is important if you're going to play him as a DMF. So I'm not sure about the defending. It depends where you look at it. I think if you're going to play him as an out-and-out DMF, which I'm not sure anyone would really, especially with the lack of physical strength, I think the awareness is a bit low. So I think as a DMF, it would have to be some kind of double pivot. It'd be some kind of sort of deep line playmaker type of player, but you won't have an active playing style there. I did test that out. He will basically play just like pretty much a box-to-box DMF, occasionally running forward a bit, but not a great deal. So yeah, some kind of double pivot as a DMF. It could be decent there if you want to position training for that, but I don't know if it's worth the position trainers and the skill trainers, because you would need a bunch of defensive skills to play there as any kind of DMF. So yeah, maybe as a DMF, I'm not sure it'd be worth shuffling too many points around it to try and do much more with him. You could maybe get him up to 70 physical contact at least, a bit more dexterity or dribbling maybe. Yeah, he could be handy there, like I say, but is it worth the position trainers and skill trainers? For me, nah, I don't think so. As a centre midfielder though, once you push him up to centre midfield, that whole player playing style becomes active. So we'll be making a lot of forward runs. He'll be a very attack-minded centre midfielder. You don't need to worry too much about the defending. Let's take a bunch of those points back from defending. Let's just initially leave him at 80 tackling. We'll leave him with a bit of defensive ability. But getting forward a bit more, we'll get him up to 80 attacking awareness, because he's got that whole player playing style. Yeah, if we just leave him around about there, 1 point, stick on shooting, gets into 70 finishing. Happy days. Yeah, as a centre midfielder, as an all-round kind of a build, you could do something like that. It could be pretty tidy. Not quite as good down the left-hand side as he can be, but we'll get to that in a second. But as an all-round build, as a centre midfielder, we want to still give him a little bit of defensive responsibility. Again, at least interception, maybe he's one to more defensive skills. Has he not got track back? That's interesting. How has Gavi not got track back? Yeah, but yeah, that kind of a build as a centre mid could do a job for you. Could be pretty handy. But like I say, if you want to focus more on the attacking ability, we'll basically do a more attacking build, which is either a more attack-minded centre mid or just an out-and-out attacking mid. So we'll get rid of all the defending, get rid of the aerial. Let's just see how good we can make him going forward. So up to 90 low pass, likewise on the ball. We've already got the attack raise to 80, although it'd be nice to get the acceleration to 90. Bit more speed on him. Still got 5 points here. Let's give it a little bit more physical strength, I guess. Yeah, so as a very attack-minded centre mid or as an attacker mid, could be pretty nice. He's got those passing skills. He's got a few skills on the ball as well. Whole player playing style, attacking runs. We've got past 80 for that. He's going to make some good attacking runs. He'll be very reactive in those attacking positions. Could be pretty decent. Acceleration at 90. He's still got a bit of defensive ability there. Still fairly aggressive there. Outstanding balance. He's quite small. He's going to have a bit of that low centre of gravity. Great stamina, which helps as an attack mid, especially with the whole player playing style. You do need stamina. Yeah, could be pretty handy getting forward as an attacking midfielder. Could be a pretty nifty one there. And then if you moved him, I mean, as an SS, I'd do similar. If you really wanted to use Gavi just behind the attack as an SS. Whole player playing style, still be active. I'll train him pretty much the same way like that, I think, to be honest. And then if you moved him over to the left, if you wanted him as a left wing forward, no active playing style there. You could also position train him as a left midfielder, where he would be a whole player. But either way, as a wide left player, if you said passing's not quite so important, but you just need a bit more speed on him, you can get his speed up to the high 80s. Could we get it to 90? Is it worth even trying? Probably not. You'd have to go too high. That would take you 7 points. Yeah, let's forget about that. Yeah, he's got a decent amount of speed there. I think that kind of a build as a left winger. Actually, his shooting is a little bit low, isn't it? What if we went lower on passing? Let's go lower on passing. Get his shooting up to 77 at least. Yeah. I'd be tempted to do something like that. As a left winger cutting aside, inverted winger. I would give him long range curler. But yeah, a bit of pace, amazing balance. Really nice on the ball, good attacking runs with that whole player playing style from left mid. But even without an active playing style left wing forward, that attacking runs will help. His passing not quite as good, but it's fine for a wide man. And the finishing's been boosted a bit. Like I say, though, 1 or 2 shooting skills would help. So you could definitely make it pretty decent as a left winger. And then the other way you could train him is a right winger. If you want to make a right winger, could you make him a right winger? He's not got pinpoint crossing. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, going to make another weird cross spammer. Yes, it looks like it. Up to 8 on there, 8 on there. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. So lovely on the ball, get that lofted up to 83. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, he would not have the best cross on him. Not much curl, not a great deal of kicking power. 83 lofted with pinpoint crossing even. Yeah, he'd have an all right cross on him, but not amazing. So I'm not sure how good he'd be right wing. I think certainly right midfield as a whole player, he would make some runs, drift the inside a little bit. He can still pass already well, get a shot away every now and then. So he's not all about crossing necessarily, but as a right footer on the right hand side with pinpoint crossing, lots of qualities there. There's plenty to be said for him. But if you really wanted to just get focus on just spamming those across into the box, I'm not sure it'd be quite the best option for you. I'm not sure it'd be quite worth the position trainers and skill trainers, but it would be an option for you if you wanted to do it. But for most people, I think with this guy, we'll leave him on auto allocation attack mid. Oof. Auto allocation makes him fantastic on the ball there. I think for a lot of people that'd be better than my build, to be honest. But yeah, whichever way you build him, yes, you can make him some kind of DMF. You can make him a left wing, you can make him a right wing. But I think as a kind of attacking mid behind the attack with a whole player playing style, that's where I think you get the most value out of Gavi. You've got some fantastic quality with him, like you can see there. You can make him outstanding on the ball, or you can beef his passing up a little bit, it's finishing as well. There's a few ways you can shuffle a few of those points around. And yeah, I think it's a handy one. It's not necessarily the best Gavi, like I say, but if you've not got a good Gavi already, or if you've not got one of the better versions of Gavi, could be a pretty nice freebie to pick up. Could be a pretty handy card, that. And next we have Fermín López. So Fermín López is a whole player. He's got his face scan, strong wicker foot. Again, no change with the skills or playing styles or anything. He's got a few nice ones on the ball. He's got through passing. Could do his 1 or 2 more skills. Maybe his one-touch pass. If you're going to play him on the left, maybe his long-range curler. That'd be a good one to give him. But he's got a good few skills to start off with. How good is he though? Let's train him up. Where is the hub? There's the hub. Yeah, decent. Not got a great deal of speed, so that's a bit of a concern straight away if you're going to play him on the left. We've had a few versions of Fermín already. We've had a few Player of the Week cards. There's 2 better Player of the Week cards, a bit better than this one, mainly when they're boosted though, because they're boosters. Without the boost, there's not a massive difference, but they are still a bit better. He's got a few highlight cards that are all slightly better than this one, to be honest. The thing with Fermín López is that at some point quite recently, they changed him from a centre mid to an attacking mid. So he's one of these players who's I'd say quite similar to Gavi. He's better as an attacking mid than a centre mid, but because he was down as a centre mid, the auto allocation would allocate a bunch of points to defending, and you could shift those points from defending onto the attacking attributes and make him even better as an attacking mid. So on his previous highlight cards, you could do that, and that really I think is the difference, and that's the reason why with this one you can't do that. You don't have the extra defending points to use because he's already an attacking midfielder, and that's the reason why I think he's just not quite as good as high rated as his previous highlight cards, unfortunately. So it's not the most exciting version of Fermín López, but it's still a decent card. It's a very usable card, this. He's had a pretty even boost from his GP card. Most attributes up by 2, there's a few up by 1 or 3. Lofted passes up by 5, not the most useful one, but I guess we'll do a cross-band build in a second like we always do. But yeah, pretty tidy as an attacking mid. As you can see, obviously really nice on the ball. The passing's okay. He's got through passing, but he could do with one-touch pass. I'm being a bit generous. Okay, almost forgot for a second. That's for the game plan boost. Yeah, we could do it a bit more on low pass. Actually, we'll see what we can do there. I mean, straight away, I'll just nick something from dribbling and get that a bit higher. The finishing's all right. Let's just take one back from passing. Actually, get finishing to 80. Yeah, it's one of these cards where there's always gonna be 1 or 2 things you want to be a bit high. You know, you get he's nice on the ball, but the passing's not so great. So you make the passing a bit better, and then you realise he needs a bit more finishing, and then you realise there's not a lot of speed on him. So I think with this Fermín card, you're always going to find there's probably 1 or 2 attributes that aren't quite as high as you'd like them to be. So yeah, as an attacking mid, I personally would probably go for that. I think the passing is just about okay at 88, fully boosted. It's borderline for me. I think you can get away with that. Nice on the ball. Whole player attacking when it's over 80 is good. Finishing at 80 might be the quickest, but for a attacking mid, that's not the most important thing. Albeit some people do like a bit of speed in the whole player. Decent acceleration, though, decent balance. Yeah, could be pretty decent as attacking mid. And likewise, if you're training for SS, don't think it's worth the position trainers personally, but could certainly do a job there similar to Gavi. If you move him a bit further back, he's got a bit of defensive ability, but like with Gavi, it's a mixed bag. You know, the awareness and tackling are horrible. Engagement and aggression could make them decent. Let's just see what it says. I'm going to start with auto allocation DMF to see what it says. Yeah, so the awareness and tackling, yeah, the awareness certainly is bad. The tackling kind of borderline. Engagement and aggression are great though, but no physical strength. I think all things considered, especially when you throw in the fact that there's no real defensive skills there, he's not going to do much of a job as a DMF. And you can see down the left, we've lost a bunch of points from there. We can forget about DMF. I think as a CMF, it'll be the same situation, really. You're just not going to have him particularly good defensively. Similar to Gavi, really. You could have him as a very attack-minded centre mid, but if you're going to do that, especially with the whole player playing style, you might as well just push him further forward as an attacking mid, and make him an attacking mid. So I don't think I'd really personally consider this guy as a DMF or a CMF. Does look decent as an AMF though, but wide left, can we get him enough speed? That's the question. Let's just take those points away from defending and aerial. All the way up to 12 and low body. Okay, so you can give him decent speed, but can you then make him good enough on the ball? And give him... Okay, yeah. So you can make him decent enough. Not amazing, but certainly decent. Just looking around here, could you maybe get the finishing up a little bit? Yeah, you could. Hang on. Can't quite get it to... Yeah, it's like I say, you're always going to have 1 or 2 attributes that just aren't quite as high as you'd like them to be, but I think you can certainly make him as decent wide left as you can as an attacking mid, arguably better. I personally prefer him on the left. I got the one from the point store, and then I got the Tsubasa one. I've used them both primarily on the left in the Spanish League Challenge a few times. He's pretty decent. He gets in some good positions for me. He's been very decent for me. He's got a bit of kicking power on him behind his shots. Yeah, he does look quite decent. He won't have an active playing style as a left wing forward, but he will be a whole player as a left midfielder. And yeah, not the best version of Fermín, obviously. We had a bunch of better ones, pardon me, but yeah, could still be very decent, could still be very usable. So
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious with these free cards why these are the free ones and not in the paid pack. But still, these cards are still looking decent enough. They're usable enough. I think Gavi's a better one than this one, but this is still a very usable card. This, but I think for most of us, obviously we've had a couple of free versions of Fermín, including the Subasa one, which is slightly better than this one. So I think for the majority of people, there won't be much need for this card. But if you didn't get the previous ones, if you don't have any good Fermín cards or any Fermín cards, very usable card through the middle or wide left with the Spanish League Challenge. But I'm not sure how many people really need this version, bearing in mind it's not as good as the previous ones. But still a pretty handy card in itself. And the last of these three highlights, albeit we've still got the Showtime 11 to look at, we've got Andreas Christensen, build-up centre-back, got a face scan. First interesting thing to note with Christensen is that he appears to have shrunk by 1 centimetre. So if you look at his previous versions, I think just about all his previous highlights and Player of the Week cards, they're 188 centimetres, but now we're only 187, so he's a shorter version, albeit he's a little bit heavier, I think. But yeah, still a decent height for centre back, about 6'1", 6'2", something like that. Skill wise, he's not always had aerial superiority. I've got an old version that doesn't have that. But yeah, he's got aerial superiority now. Got man marking, search and sliding quite spear, but we are lacking a few defensive skills. I think the first one you'd want to put on his blocker. You might also want acrobatic clearance, heading. What else do you need? I think is that about it. Yeah, blocker, acrobatic, heading. Those are the three, I think, most important ones he needs. But yeah, he's a little bit lacking skills, but he's got a bunch of the most important ones at least. Let's go get him trained up there on the hub. So, where are we? There we go. So, yeah, pretty decent looking down the middle, certainly. Physical strength, a little bit lacking. Apart from that, though, fairly nice down the left for a centre-back. Yeah, it looks very usable. Just like I say, I'd like a bit more physical contact on him. We can boost that a bit, I think. Now we can nick a bit from those defensive attributes. We have had a bunch of versions of Christian up to this point. We've had one Player of the Week version of him from the World Cup a couple of years back now. Overall, slightly better than this one, but the stats are shuffled around a bit. I would say this one actually is slightly stronger in with one or two of the most important attributes. I personally prefer this one, I think. It's not the best highlight we've had of him. We've had a few slightly better, but not a massive difference. Albeit 1 centimetre taller as well, because he's shrunk now. But yeah, not the best version of Christensen. But like I say, there's not a lot in it with any of his previous cards. It's still a solid one. It's still certainly a usable one. The boost from his GP card, they put the most on acceleration and aggression, 5 or 6 points on them. The other attributes are boosted by as much as 3, some of them by 0. So yeah, it's a decent version of Christensen, but you could do with a few skills and 1 or 2 attributes, and essentially just the physical contact really. It's a little bit lacking. So can we boost that? I mean, again, up to 13 on defending is not the most efficient way to do it. If we take a couple off there, we're dipping below 80 on the below 90, sorry, on aggression. Still 90 plus the rest. I think 11's a pretty nice spot to leave that on, and then we can just stick a couple straight on physical contact. 1 point left. If you want a bit more speed, it'd be nice to hit that 80 mark. Maybe it's for speed. If you want to do that, you could nick 1 off dexterity because you've got 1 point spare there. You go 1 off dexterity. You can go +1 on speed. You could do that, or you could even just take 1 more off dexterity and go 1 higher on aerial. Depends which way you want to play it. Entirely up to you. I personally would be tempted to do that. I think probably most people would prefer to do it the other way and get that speed up to 80. But yeah, it's a usable centre-back. I've actually used my Christensen. I've got a very old Christensen. It was a free one from when Barca won the league 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was. And that one I've used in the Spanish League Challenge. It's been decent. He's never let me down. I've never had a bad moment with him. It's similar to this one, to be honest. Very little difference. So yeah, on that basis, I'd say this one's a very usable card. If you've got a very strong squad for the Spanish League, you've got legends and showtimes at centre-back, then you're obviously not going to have much use for this guy. But if you don't have that many good options at centre-back, he could well be, like I say, he could be a solid one for you. He could do a job. He does lack 1 or 2 skills, but I've not bothered putting them on mine. He's done all right for me. But if you want to give this guy a lot of use, especially if you're a Barca fan, you want to your Barca squad, like I say, blocker, acrobatic clearance, I think those are the first 2 he needs. Could probably do with heading and what was the other one? Maybe he's on 2 others, but I think blocker and acrobatic clearance are the 2 most important ones. And yeah, the stats looking alright. We're shuffling around a bit there. Quite a well-balanced build. It's not amazing, but he's solid enough. He could definitely do a job for you. I think it's a decent centre-back. And like I say, he is decent down the left-hand side as well for a centre-back. Worth mentioning that. So yeah, it's a very usable centre-back. He does have defensive midfield. I don't think he's always had that. That's interesting. I think they've added that as a pretty proficient position quite recently, even though I don't think he's actually played there at all. Or has he? Has he played there for Barca once or twice? I don't know. Maybe he has done. But let's see if we can make him a DMF, shall we? Take a bit away from defending. Definitely. No, I don't think we can. Let's just go straight to auto allocation. Yeah, very dubious to me. That stamina's poor. He's going to get tired. I mean, to be fair, he's not that bad. Bit more stamina, maybe. Not great down the left. Yeah, for me, it's a bit iffy. I think for people who really like, if you fancy him as an out-and-out defensive mid, you don't really care about the stats down the left. Yeah, maybe, but he'll get tired. He wouldn't be amazing there. But you've got the option. He's fully proficient there already. He's got 1 or 2 skills there. No passing skills, though. So, yeah, maybe if you're really desperate, he could do a job for your DMF, but I'm not sure many people would fancy him there. As a right back, if you're position training for right back, what's the auto going to tell us? It's going to tell us he's a little bit lacking in pace. Apart from that, yeah, down the left with just 4 points added to passing and dribbling, he's okay there for a fullback. You can get away with that certainly for a defensive fullback. Defensive, very strong for a fullback. He's got a bit of physical strength, but the stamina's iffy, the pace is iffy. Have you got the points to do much about that? I mean, if you went for an out-and-out defensive build, yeah, maybe. Is it worth using all those points? I don't know. It's a stretch. I'm not sure many people are going to fancy that. I think for the vast majority of people, just about everyone's going to see this guy as a centre-back. And like I say, auto allocation, solid. Just maybe he's lacking a bit in physical contact, but as I just did there, shuffling points around, you can beef that up a little bit without really compromising too much elsewhere. So yeah, is it an amazing centre-back? No. Like I said, with all these free ones, they're not amazing. That's probably why they're in the free selection, but it's definitely a usable one. As long as you don't have a very beefy squad for the Spanish League Challenge with like, you know, big legends like Pico and so on in your squad, he could well be a very useful option for a fair few people. And we finish up with our free Showtime card. So the majority of us will be getting this free Showtime of Lewandowski. You just have to play enough matches and you'll eventually get him for free. Got his face scan, of course. It looks like I've updated it with his kind of blondie, greyish kind of hair that he's got these days. Goal poacher, 37 years old. He's amazing, Lewandowski. He just keeps getting quicker and quicker. He keeps getting quicker with every card, it seems. Unwavering form. The skills that you'd expect from Lewandowski. I don't think they've really changed much here. They've obviously given him phenomenal finishing. Not sure. Oh, hang on. They have made some changes. My bad. Okay, so we've lost Marseille turn, cut behind and turn. I can see a few people complaining about that. Chip shot control has gone, I think, and rising shots. I have no problem with taking that away. I do not like rising shots. We've gained long range curler. They love giving players long range curler lately. We've gained one touch pass, I think is new. Outside curler, handy. And like I say, phenomenal finishing because the Showtime card. So yeah, got a nice selection of skills in Lewandowski with some pretty nice changes on the whole. But let's go get him trained up, shall we? Let's get over to the hub. Oh, it's got a booster as well. What's the booster? It's offense creator. There you go. Great. But I always say with these boosters that are always active, if they're always active, they're never active. It's just a stupid gimmick. So those are his stats at level 1. Ignore the green dots. Anyways, let's go train him up on the hub. Let's see how good Robert is. So yeah, as you can see, quicker than he normally is because he just keeps getting quicker the older he gets, which makes perfect sense. Yeah, this is obviously a pretty good Lewandowski card on the whole. It's not amazing. It's not quite on the level of a paid Showtime card. Obviously, as you'd expect, they're not going to give us cards that good for free. He's about as good as any of his better Player of the Week cards, really. Not massively better, really. He's around about the same level as them, but he's certainly quicker than most. He's got a lot of previous cards who've got better awareness than finishing, but they've obviously given this guy a bit more speed to make him a bit more usable. Like quite a few highlight cards, like with Player of the Week, really, quite a few highlight cards around about the same level, really. It's just the pace that we've got compared to the awareness and finishing. It's just one of the most recent highlights I've had of his, possibly the most recent, one of those ones with a green football in the background from one of those legend boxes. That one's got a bit of pace as well, to be honest. It's not far off this one. So yeah, all things considered, in terms of how good this card is on the whole, it's not really that much better than a lot of previous versions of Lewandowski, to be honest, which in a way makes it a little bit underwhelming as a Showtime card. But firstly, it's free, and secondly, he's a bit quicker than he normally is. So it is actually a pretty good version of Lewandowski, and I imagine quite an appealing one to a lot of people, especially as a freebie. He's had a pretty mixed boost from his GP card. They've taken 3 points off awareness. They've taken 1 off finishing. I don't know why they've removed points from there, but obviously they've got to make room for all the points they put on his pace because they have given him a nice boost to his pace, obviously. And they boosted his dribbling and tight possession a bit. That's nice. And his low pass, which is also nice, and lofted pass. Great. They put a bunch on his physical contact and stamina as well. So yeah, pretty nice boost on the whole. It's a nice, well-rounded Lewandowski card with a bit more pace than he normally has, and of course, phenomenal finishing and a few other skills they've given him. So yeah, like I say, in terms of overall ability, not the most exciting Showtime card, but it's a freebie, and the way they have boosted him, it does make it a pretty nice freebie and a pretty nice Lewandowski card. This, I'd be tempted to still give him a bit more speed though, because even though they boosted it on a goal poacher at 82 speed, fully boosted, yeah, it's not the best. Let's just quickly put a booster on. Hang on, because I always feel like, which one is it? Well, it's crossing that gives you speed, isn't it? Because obviously, if you're going to be good at crossing, you need to run fast, apparently. Yeah, I think agility is probably one of the ones I'd look to give Lewandowski. Maybe it's agility or one of the kind of ball-carrying ones that would give him a bit of speed along with 1 or 2 technicals. But yeah, we'll come back to that. But I've said it with all these cards. I think it's probably, even though this is a Showtime card, I'd still just look to put a bunch of random boosters on to see if you get one that's, you know, relevant, get to and some attacking stats. But I think speed is probably the one I'd look to boost the most. But we're only up to 6 on speed. So hopefully we can beef his speed up a bit. Where are we? There's not too many points for us to spare from elsewhere, actually. That's a bit more speed, up to 8 now. Yeah, if you really don't want to screw in too much elsewhere, that might be the way to do it. Yeah, I think I'll be tempted to just stick with that, because yeah, you don't really want to lose much on finishing there. He's not got great balance, more than he often does, to be fair, but not great. There's nothing on passing there and aerial. Do you want a bit of jump on him? I mean, he's not bad in the air, but yeah, his jumping height's not great. He's not been dominant. I remember my old Lewandowski card, I had a really old one, and I made mine quite decent in the air when I used to put a lot of crosses in. I gave him aerial superiority. It didn't seem to make any difference. He still didn't win many headers, to be fair. So yeah, is it worth putting points onto aerial for Lewandowski? Maybe it's not. Maybe he could nick those last 3 as well and give him another one low body, get him off to 87 speed. And then if you gave him agility, 88 speed acceleration. So yeah, you can give him a decent amount of pace, obviously. Not an amazing amount. He's not going to be that rapid, but certainly for Lewandowski, quicker than he usually is. And he's got the awareness, he's got the finishing, decent passing for a striker. He's got one-touch pass. Might be worth giving him through passing, possibly. I'm not sure. Has he not got fighting spirit? I feel like he deserves fighting spirit. It's quite aggressive. Yeah, I think he deserves fighting spirit. That's a bit harsh. He's not got that. But yeah, a bit of strength on him, a little bit of balance. Would like a bit more, but. And obviously he's got that kicking power binding shots. So you do notice that he gives his shots some well. Lewandowski's got a good shot on him. Yeah, I'd personally be inclined to do that. Whether it's the agility booster or if you give him something like, you know, ball carrying, at least gives him speed. No, not Fantasista. What else is there? It's not that many to give him speed, are there? To be fair. Yeah, I think agility would be the best one for me. But does it make that much difference? Not really. I mean, you've got shooting obviously as well. Striker's Instinct, does that give you speed? Oh, it gives you acceleration. Yeah, Striker's Instinct's a good one as well. So there's a few boosters you could give him, but even without one, you can get a speed to a decent level, still with good attacking awareness and finishing. He's all right on the ball for a poacher. Decent level of passing there. A bit of strength to balance. It's not an amazing Showtime card, like I say, but it is a good version of Lewandowski with a bit of pace about him. So I can see it's appealing to a lot of people. I think for a freebie, this is a decent one. You can't really complain. I think a lot of people were expecting maybe a little bit more from the 900 million downloads campaign. We've had better ones before. The what was it? The 700 one or 777 when we had that pack with Pires in it. We've had some really fun ones in the past. So this one's maybe is not the most exciting one, but I think as a free Showtime card, you know, phenomenal finishing, more pace than he normally has. I think it's a very tidy card. This I don't think anyone can really complain. I can see him popping up in a lot of Spanish league squads certainly. So yeah. Good Lewandowski card, not as good as some Showtime cards, but it's a good one. He's quick. It certainly can make him quite quick. If you're not bothered about the pace, if you do want to try and make him better in the air, if you're just mashing loads of crosses into the box, let's do shall we do a crossband build? Let's do that, shall we? Why not? How high can we get that aerial? We can go right the way up there. Might quite get to 12, but you can put 2 on goalkeeper 1. We can get up to 91 jumping, 92 heading, 93 physical. Jumping height 274, it's not amazing, but it's decent. It's decent. So if you did that, and if you gave him aerial superiority, yeah, that might appeal to some people, to be fair. If you don't feel like you need that much pace in your strikers, and you're more focused on putting loads across into the box, you could have a very decent Lewandowski in the air. Like I say, not amazing. That vertical reach is not amazing. But if you gave him aerial superiority, it could be decent in the air. So that's one other slightly different build you could give him. But I think for me personally, I'll go with what I did just now. Give him a bit more pace. And it could be very usable. Could be a very handy striker to have. Not sure about the auto allocation. The auto allocation's just not quite got the speed, and he's not amazing in the air. I think the auto allocation is a bit iffy for me, but yeah. One of those 2 builds I just did could be very handy for a freebie, free Showtime card. And I'm not sure how many more good Lewandowski cards we're going to get before we start getting legend versions. So yeah, this is a pretty nice card for them to give us for free, to be honest. I think a lot of people are going to be getting a fair amount of use out of this guy, especially in their Spanish League squads. So there's all your 900 million download Barca cards. A few decent freebies in there, especially the Showtime Lewandowski. I don't think we can complain. Like I say, I don't think it's the most exciting campaign given the previous ones we've had. But hopefully the 1 billion campaign should be a good one. 1 billion be quite ahead of a milestone. Hopefully there'll be some pretty decent stuff in there. Maybe it's a free legend or something like that. So yeah. But all that said, I do think those are some decent freebies there. I think it's a very nice Showtime Lewandowski for them to give us, and I think the Barcelona pack is a decent one as well for a fair few. Maybe not for everyone, but obviously those packs are never for everyone. But for some people at least, that could be a pretty good value pack as well. So there's all your Barcelona players. That's a lot of Barcelona cards that I've just reviewed. So hopefully you found all that useful. I appreciate you watching however much of that you've watched. I imagine most people skip through a lot of that. I'm probably going to end up being a long video again. I can't see the actual timing on my screen at the moment, but that's probably going to be well over an hour. Whoops. But yeah, there you go. It took me a while to get that one done. Apologies for that, but got it done in the end. So yeah, thanks for watching that. I will try and do a stream over the weekend at some point. If nothing else, I'll be spinning player of the week on the Japan account for us. I don't know, maybe spinning for that Joe Linton card if that turns out to actually be a real card that's getting released. So yeah, maybe it's a stream at some point. Hopefully I'll do another video at some point reviewing whatever I need to review. I think I need to do the Italian League pack on Yu-Gi-Oh cards as well. So watch out for more videos. Maybe it's a live stream. Jump in the Discord if you're not already there. Thanks again for watching, much appreciated. Have a super duper weekend. Catch you soon. Bye.